Show me where it hurts and give me something real and lead me to the part of you that never really heals and say the words that burn when they leave your mouth. You tell me your story, but don't leave the good parts out.
Show me where it hurts, give me something real, and lead me to the part of you that never really heals. Left Andy Grammer up here on the screen for you. Used his lyrics from The Good Parts for a very specific reason. This episode of Not Your Mother's Podcast with the powerful Tiffany Duncan came full circle, unlike many things I've experienced in my entire life. So tune in and check it out. If you do not watch this episode, you're severely missing out. We talked about a lot of things. We busted out our year 2000 yearbook. So if you want to see where my hairline used to be, definitely check that out. But we had a lot of fun. And in the end, we came down to discussing so many problems, whether it was being raised in a cult and what that does to you in relationships in the future, or whether it comes down to just societal issues as a whole. I'm telling you right now, this episode is a defining episode of Not Your Mother's Podcast. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. Thank you. My name's Stuart. This is my friend Tiffany. And this is the Not Your Mother's Podcast. Cheers. So fun fact, this girl's a pro at making drinks. And not only is this delicious, it's potent. And so this podcast could get really interesting. So enjoy that, you guys. Fun story about how you came to be on the podcast. It wasn't, she doesn't live around here. And no, she didn't fly in just to be on the podcast. That would sound really cool. But she's in the area visiting, and so I asked her if she'd come on the podcast. And she did have to drive quite a ways to get here. So thank you so much. Just right around the corner. In California, nothing is right around the corner the way this fucking traffic is. But thank you so much for being on the podcast. Seriously.
No problem.
I appreciate it. So we've just more recently reconnected. I'd say within the last year or two, something like that.
Last year. It's
not two.
Yeah,
no,
very
definitely
recent.
not. But we knew each other, more of each other than really knew each other well at all growing up.
Yeah.
We went to, we were in the same cult, and we'll just get that out of the way right now. Yay, cults. We were in the same cult. We went to the same school. I was in junior high. I went there from halfway through 6th grade through 8th grade, and then you were there 3rd through 5th grade?
3rd through 5th, right.
Yeah, so again, not a lot of interaction, even though it was a small school, between our classes, but I knew who she was.
I was friends with his little sister.
There you go. Yeah, they were closer than we were. But something I want to do, something that should be a lot of fun, is I've done this once before with the Howes Anderson yearbook, but today I have the Den. This is a yearbook from the year of our Lord, 2000. And we're going to go through it. And this is my junior high year. This was, we figured it out earlier. Do we remember, was it your 4th or 5th?
Fifth
grade
year.
So she was in
Mr.
5th grade, Mr. Riffle. Yeah, so I came in 6th grade, so I was in his class too. Not when you were, but when I came in halfway in 6th grade,
Gotcha.
Which is when I found out I needed glasses, because I was a late addition, so I sat in the back of the class and I was just the whole time, yeah. So that was not a fun way to learn.
That's funny. You know what? I feel like Mr. Riffle's class might have been somewhere around when I learned I needed glasses.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like
Something about Terry will do it to you.
I think I was like failing a spelling test or maybe a Bible memorization thing because he was filling in blanks.
Yep. Well, I can't read this shit.
Yeah, I think it was the same.
That's super funny. I did not know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember Terry. I liked him a lot, actually. I think he was
great teacher.
Yeah, I think he was one of the best teachers I ever had. And it's not a mistake, he was right on for this. The only thing he ever did to me that wasn't super nice was he played trumpet beautifully.
Yeah, he did.
So he had a trumpet class. So he was kind enough to let me borrow his trumpet for class. Yeah. Right? So I was taking trumpet, but really I wasn't catching on. I wasn't reading music.
Yeah.
I was literally just copying the other guys. And one day he pulled me aside and said, go ahead and give me my trumpet back.
Oh,
You're
no.
just copying the other guys. Like, you're not getting it at all. And I was like,
Oh, no.
yeah, you're right. It is what it is. But he was a terrific teacher. I'll never forget.
He taught me how to play flute.
Really?
Yeah.
That's terrific.
He taught flute. And I mean, I only took just a few lessons from him,
Really?
maybe like 6 or 7, but I was picking it up pretty well. I really enjoyed it.
He's a
but
great teacher.
He was a really good teacher. And we just moved, and when we moved
that's what
and
happens.
went to a different church and school, I just didn't ever. We were too far away.
Did
so.
he read? Did he read to you guys? Did he read through books?
Yeah.
He was a great reader.
Very good reader.
We read some End Times book when I was in school, some Rapture book or something. It was like 1984 meets Left Behind kind of thing.
Gotcha.
It was really good.
Yeah.
He's a very captivating reader.
He
Anyway.
did a few really good history readings.
Yeah, I
for
believe
us.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's terrific. Okay, so we're gonna look at our yearbook. You guys don't mind us. We're just gonna go through and read and see what we find between hairstyles and dress codes. It should be interesting.
I will say this. I may have a picture in here, like the one picture where you have to smile and get dressed up for school.
Yeah.
But you probably won't find me
Anywhere else? I don't think
because
you
I
would-
used to
me either.
hide
Oh,
from
really?
the camera person. I knew I looked nuts. Like, I had crazy hair. It was wildly curly, all like halfway down my back. I had no idea how to deal with it. My brothers had curly hair, dad had curly hair,
Yes, he
sisters
did.
had
I
straight
remember
hair,
that.
mom had straight hair.
Huh.
She had no idea how to deal with it, and so she just let me roam wild.
You're fucked.
So I looked insane
Like
for
a little
years.
little lioness. I get
Right, yeah. So you just won't find me anywhere in there. I was like, this is dumb.
That is awesome. So these are. I'll be brief on these, but these are my the signatures.
All the people who signed.
Yeah. So Dustin Snyder. We're friends on
Oh,
Facebook.
I know Dustin Snyder. Wow, I haven't
Yeah.
heard from him in years.
He's doing good. Ashley Allen, who I don't really
Christy
remember.
Schock.
Christy Schock.
She went to church with us.
Definitely.
Was in this cult too, like deep.
Definitely had a huge crush on Christy. Like,
How could you not?
I mean,
Did you know that she was born at less than a pound?
nuh-uh.
Yeah, dude, like ounces.
That's crazy.
She was tiny when she was born. They
I
didn't
didn't know
think that
that.
she was gonna make it.
Huh.
She gained weight really fast and did really well.
Good.
She was
Well,
super early born.
The more you know.
Tiny.
Who is that? Who is writing Elton? Michael Carlson. Me and Michael were really big on the Chicago Bulls, so he circled his name in red and black. Bulls colors, and then
Hilarious.
puts Elton Brand, the number. And then I wanted to read Michael's. So Michael Riffle, Terry's son. Hey Stuart, hope are you having fun in Missouri? Because we moved to Missouri.
Yes.
Too bad you had to go. You was a good friend while you were here. Keep serving the Lord. Oh, sorry about
Your
that
dad's
last
a
part.
teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
You was a
Yeah,
good
how
friend.
dare you fuck that up?
Oh,
And
Indiana.
Ryan McDaniel, we never got along.
Oh no, I want to read that
Oh,
one.
you want to read?
I'm just curious.
Stewie is Pooey. What's up? We got a new guy named TJ for our b-ball team, and
No.
Rodney's playing. We got 13 players. We'll send you a picture of our first place
Oh my
trophy.
gosh.
Number 2 is Pooh. Blue is Pooh too because I wore a jersey I bought from Walmart that was a number 2. And which is funny, but we didn't win. We played basketball. We didn't win a single game.
Oh no.
We won no
The
games.
team was terrible.
We were so bad, so bad. So
Miss Beeman.
Miss Beeman,
She's
yeah.
my favorite.
Oh,
I
goodness.
loved her, and her boys were
Oh,
my best friends.
Jason's terrific.
Joe and
I'm
Jason.
still good. I'm good friends with Jason. We're friends on Facebook, but yeah, he's good. So apparently, I wasn't a
Mr. Wardlow.
fan of Wardlow, but
Apparently not.
that
He
actually looks more like my father's
drew
handy.
stitches in
No,
his forehead.
I think
apparently.
that's my father's handiwork. Let's see. We'll put that up here. Sorry, Stephanie, if you see this. Where did it go? You can't see it. You can
Stephanie,
just
for
see
the
that it's
record, I really liked your dad.
in-
And your mom.
Oh no,
Love
I
your
drew.
mom.
Okay, no, this is me, and I drew on him everywhere.
Oh my
There's your
god,
pops.
this hair!
Yeah.
What did you do?
I don't know. It's terrible.
Oh, my
Mr.
dad.
Yeah.
Aw.
There's 2 pictures of your dad.
My dad
you-
was the assistant pastor
Yep.
and the youth leader, and I think for a short while, if I remember correctly, the principal of our Christian school too.
I think
which
so.
there was a school, and then there was a what was it? Like a little bridge, like a walkway
Yeah, there was
bridge,
a little
footbridge,
creek in between
with
the
a creek that went
Uh-huh.
pretty far down, and then the church was
The
right
church
there.
and the
so everything
cafeteria.
was
yeah.
everything was
Exactly.
connected.
So that's that. Let's see. Who else are we looking at here? Mr. Hagenbush. We did not get along at all.
Oh no,
He
nobody
taught
got
me.
Mr. Hagen Tush. Did you know everybody called him Mr. Hagen Tush in the younger grades?
It kind of makes sense.
Because there was a Mrs. Hagen Tush too, and she wasn't nice. Either.
No, I remember her. I remember her well. There he is again, Mr. Hagen Tush. This is.
I
Yeah,
love her,
sweet.
Barb. Such
Yes.
a doll. I love Barb.
Mr. Clovan, did you have him for anything or did he leave?
No, I never had him for anything, but
Excuse
all
me.
I ever heard was good about him.
I loved him. He was my basketball coach, the
He's
one that
much
coached
older
us.
for me, but-
Yeah, he coached our losing record, and it wasn't his fault. He was a good coach, and then he taught me algebra. He tried to teach me algebra.
yeah.
I sucked at it. It was
Mr.
terrible.
Pike.
Yeah.
I never had him as a teacher,
Yeah.
but he went on a lot of the youth activities that we went on with the church, and I just always really looked up to him.
Yes.
He was a good human being.
We're friends on Facebook. I think he is in Korea or somewhere right now
really?
teaching. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's a legit educator. I think that's why you looked up to him, because he was, not that anyone else wasn't serious, but he was super serious about his job.
That's awesome.
And it wasn't a dick about it. Like, he was serious, but, he was nice. He was a really nice guy. I remember that.
I just want to point out really quickly, my father's face is cut out of this
Okay.
yearbook because...
Hang on. Go ahead, and then I'll go.
Because Stuart looks up to him so much
True.
that he cut out my dad's face, which the reason I'm saying this is because I love my dad and have a lot of respect for him.
Same.
But he cut out his face and put him on a poster
Yeah, it was a
inside
poster.
your locker
Yeah.
that was like cool dudes
Yeah.
next to like Allen Iverson and Michael Jordan. Like that's how
That's
high up
where
my dad
I put
was.
you, dude.
My
like,
dad is
really.
awesome.
I agree 100%. And it was
So-
awkward because we pulled this book out earlier, and we're going through it, and it was like, so here it says Earl Duncan, and it's also
Why is his
missing
face
his
gone?
face. You asshole! Why would you cut my dad? She didn't say that, but why would you cut my dad out of the yearbook? And I was
Slightly
like,
confused.
and I had to really dig deep to remember why the hell I did that, but I do remember that.
It
there's
was a
just-
worship poster.
Yeah, it
It's
was
fine.
100%. We'll get into the man worship for sure.
Normal.
Andy's listed as a
Oh,
custodian
yeah.
here, but I recall that he did teach.
He started as a custodian.
Did
He
he
lived
really?
in one of the rooms upstairs
No
on the right.
shit.
Yeah, it's where we used to live when we first moved there. We lived upstairs in a room
That's
in the school,
crazy.
and then we finally got moved into the house that was over there.
Yeah,
And then Mr. Pike, when he moved in, that's what
That's
he
where he-
did. He
Wow.
worked as a custodian for a
I
while.
did not know that.
And then became a teacher.
So I feel like this girl's name is Cassie, the one that I've drawn on here.
Which one?
No, it's not Cassie. Is it Cassie?
Ooh,
We'll
I don't
find her.
know.
But we did not get along clearly.
I remember him, but I don't remember his name.
Casey.
That's one of the Riffle
That's
boys.
Casey. That's Matthew. That's Casey. He played piano
I can
like a
never
motherfucker.
tell Matthew or Michael
I
apart.
promise you, that's Matthew.
Oh, I believe you. I can never tell them apart.
And that's John Fishburne. Me and John are friends on Facebook. We talk every once in a while. And it's just littered with night eggs. Hello, night eggs.
Oh, so many.
All the night eggs.
All the night eggs.
All right, so yeah, Casey Flynn. Yep.
Okay, Casey Flynn.
Casey
I
Flynn.
liked him.
Yeah, no, he was good because he was different, like, and not in a bad way. Like, he was
Yeah.
just different from everyone
He
else.
was.
So, Megan McLean.
I loved all of the McLeans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt.
I remember-
Right? Matt has a band now. He's doing pretty well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I've seen like a few little posts and things from a couple of years ago, but haven't
Matt's
seen.
not active on social media.
I remember Monica
Mhm.
used to like poke at me a little bit when I was younger. We'd go
That's
on
funny.
youth trips and stuff,
Uh-huh.
and she was always a little bit rebellious and snotty, and she'd poke at me, and I used to be so mad at her,
Poke
but I
back.
thought she was so pretty and so cool,
It's
and
'cause
so
she
I
was
wanted
so
to be
pretty.
her best friend.
I wanted to be
Like,
your best
ah.
friend too in a different
And then
way.
I just looked up to Megan.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, they're
I was like, oh my
terrific.
god, she's awesome.
Yeah.
And she's so sweet.
They were all the McLeans.
Oh, all
Their
of the
parents did
M&Ms.
something right.
That's what we.
There you go. Yeah.
Michael used to
I
hate
feel like
that,
I-
or Mitchell.
really?
Mitchell used to hate that I called him an
I
M&M.
call him Matt Mitchell. That's why I'm not
That's
Matt,
it,
right?
Mitchell.
Yeah, I fucked
Well,
that
there
up.
wasn't there
Was there a
another
Matt?
brother too? There's a Matt,
He's
isn't
probably in here.
there? Well, they're all M's either way.
Yeah, it is. Eminem.
M&M.
Sorry, guys.
Wow, you
And
do
this
a lot
is-
of coloring on people's face. He likes purple glasses.
Yeah, apparently.
Everyone has Harry Potter purple glasses.
It really is. But it's always Hagen.
And
but-
like
not Hagen,
wild black comb over hair too. Some people
which
have
is what I could-
mullets.
It's rough. It's gonna get better or worse, actually.
There's Monica.
there's
so
Monica.
pretty.
Mm.
I always thought she was gorgeous. Got big old cheesies.
Kurt Obermeyer, remember him.
Joel,
The Oars were good boys. I remember them.
Joel and Mark, both of them were good
Yeah,
boys.
Yeah. Yeah, they were good guys
Ah.
for sure.
The oars. Oh my gosh.
Good times.
All the oar boys. Overmyers.
Remember the hair with these guys? That was, look at right here.
Oh
Look
yeah,
at
those
Mark's hair. The frosted tips, man.
Justin Timberlake boys.
you had to be one of the cool kids with your frosted tips. All right, and it is hard to tell them to apart, but
So
the way, okay,
hard.
Matthew and Michael, Stephanie might watch this, but Matthew and Michael, the way I told them apart was Michael had the preacher haircut, and Matthew combed it straight down in the front, which I thought was super cool, but my dad wouldn't let me do.
Oh, gotcha.
I wanted to do that, and he wouldn't let me.
There is a Matthew McLean.
Matthew,
I thought so.
yeah.
He was
Yep.
like in between.
Yep.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And then, I don't remember.
Amy
sophomores.
Carlson.
Yeah,
I know.
Amy and Michael I
Janet,
know. Jeff Hudgens. Wow, it's been a long time since I looked at this thing.
Cassie.
Yep, Cassie Shock, Melissa
I
Todd,
don't remember
I don't
anybody
remember a
else
lot
in
of
that
them,
class. Yeah.
John
But
Fishburne.
John, I remember.
Kaylee, that's the girl I drew
Kaylee.
on. Sorry about that, Kaylee Howard.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Kaylee is the older sister of Heather Howard.
Okay.
Do you remember Heather at all?
Nope.
So Heather was maybe a grade older than me.
It's probably I don't
but
remember, but
I was best friends with Courtney Neidig for a while,
okay.
and then Heather came into the picture, and Heather wanted to be best friends with Courtney, and we just fought. Like, we
That's
were terrible. I
terrible.
remember one day in the gym, turning
Oh,
around
boy.
because I heard a name, like I heard my name yelled. I whipped around and a basketball was
Oh,
coming
no.
at my face like this because she had hurled it at my face purposefully.
Oh my God. And then called your name because you turned
Right,
around.
so that I would get hit by it.
Oh,
well, so we
no.
fought for years, and then about 3 years ago, I was on Instagram, and I see this girl, and I'm like, whoa, this girl's going to rave. She looks super cool. I love her style. This is all Heather? We connected,
Life
and
has
it was
a way
like,
of doing that.
we instantly were like, whoosh.
Oh
and
my
so now
God,
every
that's
time I'm in
amazing.
Chicago, we meet up. I've
Hell
stayed in her
yeah.
house. Like, we chill, and like,
That's
we've met up at a
awesome.
brewery before and talked, and
That's
we follow
terrific.
each other, and we're constantly just like, oh my God, I love
Loving
your
on each
travels,
other,
and I love what
yes.
you're doing here, and this is
That's
so
beautiful,
cool, like building
though.
each other up.
I
Like,
love that.
damn, from 3rd grade where we
It-
hated each other.
Things
now, it's
change.
so
I
cool.
love that.
But she'll be in this book too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah. So these guys were the class clowns. So I was in class
Yeah.
with these guys often. Jake Overmeyer and John Fishburne were absolutely
Chase, too.
and Chase. Well, Chase was like his own class clown. These guys
True.
were a team. Jake and John worked well with each other. They really like.
You're
This
right,
isn't a
they
weight
did.
thing at all, but like Laurel and Hardy, like you guys they had that vibe. They did very
Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
100%. You got it. That was them.
Chase used to babysit me.
Chase Neidig
For a
babysat
short
you?
period of time, he babysat like the kids in our, like, yeah, he was like 2
Whose-
years older, so
whose
we were
idea
able
was
to be,
that?
I don't
Probably
know.
Chase's.
I have no idea.
That
But I
makes
just
no
remember
sense.
thinking, like, really?
Yeah,
But-
I'm thinking that now. Stephanie, I'm not gonna put this
I
picture.
never listened.
Stephanie Riffle, I'm not putting this picture up here of you, but
Where-
that is. Cool.
Oh,
Let me know
Stephanie.
if you want me to send it to you because it's amazing.
Stephanie and I were best friends for a long
Really?
time because assistant pastor,
Yeah,
pastor,
pastor,
like
yeah,
daughters,
100%.
same age.
Yep.
She played the piano and I sang, and we sang together. So
Perfect.
like, I used to sing Day by Day and The
Oh,
Older I
that's
Get
awesome.
Cross and
Yeah.
all of those, and like I sang specials in church,
Yep,
and
and
that's
she
who I
would play.
sang them with. Like,
That's terrific.
Stephanie and I were together like hand in hand for 2.5, 3 years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we loved each other. Super close.
I actually didn't think I made it in here that often, but I did. I'm in here the whole class picture.
Oh.
And then me and Tommy Blackburn. Me and Tommy
There
talk
you
to this
go.
day. I love Tommy Blackburn. Tommy
That's a
changed my
good
life.
dude.
Yes, he is.
I haven't talked to him in a long time
You
either.
should. He's the shit. And that's me on a very good hair day there.
Very good.
Stephanie, the same.
Beautiful. Yes, that's a good one.
Oh my, Ruthie
Oh
Man
wow,
must have had a little
Joanne
crush.
Fetter. That was an interesting.
Oh my God, Joanne.
Wow.
I still don't like you to this day. I'm just gonna say it.
I haven't talked to her in a long time.
Joanne was
but,
an
woo,
asshole.
She was a jerk.
The Allen sisters were fucking awesome. I love them. They were super, super sweet.
Oh, I
Ashley
never.
and Adam. You didn't know them?
I
I
don't
feel
think
like they
so.
left. I feel like they weren't only there a couple years. Then there's Christine, my crush.
I love Christy.
And then Ruthie Mann looks like had her little crush of her own. Look, Stuart, you and me. Yes, we're next to each other. This is how it worked out.
Ruthie also babysat me
No
a couple
shit.
of times. Ruthie.
What is going on with the babysitting?
I don't know. It was me and I'm pretty sure that's. I could swear
Sorry.
Ruthie Mann. That was who that was.
That's not the greatest picture ever. Let's just be real.
I'm almost dead sure that was. Did she end up going to Open Bible Baptist too?
I
for
don't
a little
remember.
While,
I feel
or,
like she did, but I don't know. I don't
because
recall.
if that's who it was,
That's
I
her
remember,
right there. If that helps at all, that's her behind me. But that's picture day, is it?
If
No,
it's the right
not picture
person,
day.
she babysat Kaylee and I one night.
Oh.
Kaylee Bixler.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, we're still really good friends
That's
to this
good.
day.
That's right.
But yeah, she babysat us one night, and I think Stephanie McDaniel may have been there as well.
Okay.
And Ruthie had passed out on the couch, and we were all watching a
Fucking
movie.
around.
And we turned around, and she had like moved her arm, and then we turned back around, she moved something else, and we started talking about her sleepwalking in her sleep, and how we were all gonna just scream if she started sleepwalking in her sleep. And then we woke her up, and she was so mad at us
She was
we woke
pissed
her up in the
because
middle
she was
of the
getting her good sleep.
night. Yeah, right.
That's hilarious. You're supposed to be babysitting us. So
Great,
Rodney,
cute little
Grant,
cheeks.
I barely remember.
Rodney.
Luke, damn it, I remember. Why don't I see Luke? Did I pass over him? We're friends on
You
Facebook.
did. Well, one of the Dimmits.
Stacy,
Stacy's.
no. Where's Luke? Luke should be right here.
Maybe just
Am
his
I
picture
retarded?
taken.
I'm retarded. Where's Luke? He's not up here. I
Yeah,
missed
probably
him.
just didn't
He's
even
not
get
in
put in there.
6th grade. He just didn't get in there?
Mm-mm.
I remember he had the cool pants, those
Cool
the Jinko
pants.
jeans. Ryan McDaniel, Dustin Snyder, Stephanie, Jamie
Oh,
Feather.
Ryan, you look like such a dork.
Don't get me
I
started
had
on
the
Ryan.
biggest crush on Ryan
Well,
for years.
I don't blame you. Should have crushed on Michael Carlson. He was the real deal. I love Michael.
I don't think I ever did. Sorry, dude.
You missed out.
Oh, look, the older of the Beemans.
Yeah.
Be a man. Lindsay's 30 weeks pregnant and doing great.
Is she?
Yeah,
Good
dude,
for her.
she's beautiful, and she's such
Yeah.
a sweet freaking spirit. I
That's
love her.
awesome. I'm
and yeah,
glad.
she's 30 weeks pregnant, doing wonderful.
Good.
And, I'm so happy for her.
Good.
And she's,
I'm happy for her
I
too.
think she's remarried. I don't know, but in a
I
really
don't
good
know.
relationship.
That's
So
that's
that
fucking
makes me
rad.
happy.
Good. So
Wow,
this
there's
is where
lots
you're
of
gonna
people.
be if you're in here.
Joe.
At all. Yep.
Joe. There's Billy Goodsoe. I loved
Yeah.
her.
See, now we're getting the people that you know and I don't, except for my siblings.
These are all my young people.
These are the homies.
Yeah.
You're not in there. You're not in that ensemble. Come on.
Yep, all the way over there
I
on the
knew
left.
it. I knew it. There's
Oh,
that hair.
in a patterned sweater and patterned
Patterned dress.
skirt.
Yeah,
So me.
Terrific. Matchy matchy.
Love it.
Who's the
I'm up here
cheerleader?
too. Which one?
No, we're in centerfold status. Who is that? That doesn't make sense. when we have
Faith Neidig.
Oh, okay. It's a Neidig. So
It's a
it doesn't have
Neidig.
to
They
make
all
sense.
have costumes. They all have everything. No,
I don't
nothing
think I have any
needs to make
Neidigs on
sense.
Facebook, so I'm not worried about it.
Oh, I think I'm still friends with all of them.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, guys.
Oh, there's
Yeah, these
Samara.
pictures are-
Samara
Yeah,
and
Samara, I
Lauren,
remember, yeah.
and then there's Hillary.
Mm-hmm. I'm friends with
I know
Samara on
that
Facebook.
face, but I don't know. There's Billy, Amy. There's your sister.
Wow, right next to you.
Yeah.
Right over her. What an asshole.
There's Leah.
There's Leah.
That's awesome.
There's Leah
Ashton.
again.
I dated Ashton.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, later in life.
That's
like,
awesome.
And I dated Tyler for a while too, dude. Later in
Let's
life,
just
like
pick out
after
the
the
class.
like,
Yes.
you know,
After all that jazz.
Yeah, in college.
Hillary Neidig, Courtney Neidig.
Both of them in
Amy
college. It's
McDaniel.
Talia,
funny.
that's who I was looking for in
Oh,
that other
okay.
picture. I recognize, and then that's Heather, the one that we hated each other.
So James, I forgot his, I don't know how to say the last name.
Talby.
Talby. James, Robin. Yep. I'm friends with Robin on Facebook.
Oh my
That
gosh.
guy is a legit artist. Like,
Really?
he is good. He's
Oh no,
really
dude!
good.
I remember some drawings that he did
He still does
in
stuff to this
elementary
day.
school. I remember
I'll
seeing
show
some
you
stuff and being like, "Whoa!"
When we're done with this, I'll show you. He's really
He's
good.
very quiet.
Yes, but he's very good.
Courtney
Leah-
was
Leah's
my
all over this.
my
Leah-
best friend.
Oh, good.
Like, Courtney was just ace,
Bestie
total
best.
sweet. We, when we first joined the church, her mom basically like took us in, and I don't know if you knew anything about like, but her mom ended up getting cancer and like going into
Oh my
remission
God.
and then getting cancer, and
I don't
eventually
recall that.
she passed away
Okay.
like in her sleep, which was beautiful. And I
Yeah.
went to the. Like, I went back into town to go to the
The
funeral and
funeral, yeah.
everything, and it was just
That's crazy.
like the whole thing was gorgeous. But
Yeah.
her mom, the sweetest spirit you will
Oh,
ever meet
that's
in
awesome.
your entire life.
Yeah.
Like, just lovely till the day she went.
That's terrific.
Like, and there's not a single person in the world that could ever say anything differently.
Yeah.
You just can't find one.
That's awesome.
And so Courtney gets her super sweet spirit
From
from
her
there,
mom.
and her brother. Like,
Yeah.
and like they're just wonderful humans.
Sweethearts.
And their dad is great too. Their
That's
whole
terrific.
family. Love them.
Josh Aber.
There's
There's Andrew. Andrew and Joe, my best friends. It's only perfect that I should be situated in the middle and
right
with my
between them
eyes closed in this
100%.
picture.
This girl's eyes are done.
I look high.
You do,
It's
well,
only
ironically.
Oh my god.
How did that work out?
Oh, this is so
There's Mitchell.
great.
I knew it was Mitchell.
And I'm also surrounded by boys,
By
which
dudes.
is how I wanted to be.
Right.
I hated women growing up. I wanted to play soccer
I
with the
hate them
guys,
now.
and I wanted to play all the games with the boys, and I'm just surrounded by them. It's great. Yeah, that looks like me.
That's gotta be
Cowboy
you.
hat,
It's
that
the
is
hair.
me.
It can't be anyone
Yeah.
else.
Oh my god! Wow, my hair looks slightly tamed in that picture, which
Well,
is insane.
you probably had it taken care of for picture day because we knew. Remember picture day? We knew it was coming up. In fact, I remember
True.
one picture. So I was only there for 2 picture days. For one of them, I still can't. Like, this is it. I can't grow a beard. It just doesn't work. I can grow neck beard right here, and it's super annoying. But I thought I was growing a beard. And so I remember right before picture day one year, I grabbed my dad's razor, tried to dry shave my fucking face.
Ouch! Oh my god!
I was bleeding everywhere.
My face hurts.
I know. I was bleeding all over my face that day, just in time for picture day.
Oh,
It was
by the
terrific.
way,
Yes.
Lauren Kreft and Taylor
Uh-huh.
Irwin are both, or Tara
Tara.
Irwin are both wonderful human beings too.
I don't know them. I believe you.
Tara, her dad was the one who taught me how to bowl.
Oh shit.
Yeah, like we went on a 3rd grade outing, and he taught me like how to line up everything and how to bowl, and I'm actually
That's
a pretty
rad.
darn decent
Yeah?
bowler now. And every single time I bowl, I think about all the steps that he taught me and where to go and how to do things.
That's a good memory.
Tara and Lauren and I are all still friends on Facebook.
That's
and,
awesome.
Yeah, they're good. They're wonderful humans.
Good people.
Yeah.
So 4th grade.
We're going younger. This is where my brothers and sisters would have been.
Okay, so I don't know any of these
Stephanie
kids.
McDaniel. She's
Oh, yeah, I
the
do know
Tara
who.
Puckett. You
Yep.
know Tara.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. So Tyler Puckett, one
Mhm.
of my best friends in the entire
We
world.
just lost Pooh Bear. It's all good.
And he's a wonderful human. But as a kid, he had this thing that he used to do to freak people out. He could take his tongue and not touch his nose, but stick it into
In
his
his-
nose and twist it. So he could pick boogers
That's a
with
talent,
his tongue.
though. Like,
and then
you're
pick
cutting
them
out the
out,
middleman.
show them to you on his
And then
tongue,
swallow
and then
them.
eat them.
Yeah.
While looking you in the eye.
Psychopath.
It was, and as a young girl, you're like, oh no.
I didn't have that, but I'll show you what I have. I still have it. So, when I was, a child, I put this hand, specifically this finger.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
deformed.
it's fucked, right? Look at that. Let's see.
Weird.
It's fucked. Those are like lined up, guys. That's not how it's supposed to look. Okay, so I put my. Stop
You've seen
making fun of me.
that Angela Johnson stand up where she goes in
No.
and gets her nails done, and then she's like,
Oh,
this nail after you did the manicure goes a little like this, and she's like, let me see that. No, that's your nail. It goes like this. She goes, well, it didn't do that before you came in.
Anyways, I put my hand over like a, I don't know, a hot water vaporizer, I think is what it was. And it legit curled my finger up on a Sunday morning. We're all ready for church, trying to get out the fucking door. And here's Stuart over in the corner. Let's see what this shit does. So this, until I was, I don't know how old, I feel like 8 or 10, this was just curled. This finger was just curled like this.
Gosh.
So what they did was, you can barely see it, but a little skin graft here. They took, not graft. They took skin from here. They sliced this open, and then you can see here, they just put skin in there.
Huh.
So what I could do when I was a kid to gross girls out was this.
Oh,
Not really
that's
super
pretty
gross.
cool.
Not as good as like putting your
Yeah.
tongue up your nose, but it doesn't work right. Like where your finger's supposed to just bend back, like mine kind of. Y'all can't see it from there. I'm not gonna show it to you. Anyways, I don't know why you made me think of
I
that.
used to. So stick your finger right there. You can like make it disappear. So I would tell people, I'd have them do like, oh look at this.
It's gone,
You can
it's
make
gone.
it disappear. Go back. But you're just like dislocating it and moving it
Yeah,
into the back. And I was like, look, I'm double jointed.
Look,
That's cool. I'm gonna
totally.
freak people out.
And at our age, like it didn't take much to freak us out. So,
Right.
you fucked up my finger. How dare you?
Crazy.
That's awesome. Okay, so
Faith Nighting.
yep.
Kaylee. Kaylee Johnson in this. Kaylee Bixler. Kaylee Benowitz now. But
I know who that is.
So when she was in 3rd grade and I was in 5th grade, we absolutely hated each other. Made fun of each other constantly.
Really?
Like, yeah, all kinds of those, like, UGLY, using got no alibi, that whole thing. Like, all of that.
I know that one.
But when I started going to her church, she got a little bit older, I got a little bit older, we became best friends.
That's
and
awesome.
have not, like, she's been the one person that no matter what has ever happened in my life, if I've done something that I'm ashamed of, if, you know, I needed help, if I needed prayer, if I needed anything, Kaylee was always there.
That's
and she's
awesome.
still there to this day. Like, I can message her on Facebook, Instagram, anything, text her, and she'll be there
That's
for
fucking
me.
rad. I'm glad. I'm very glad for you for that.
She's
and for
awesome.
her. Okay, more A-Bears.
Ariel Abear. Young, Bryce Bailey.
There's
Okay,
a
there's
sister.
Elena. She's
There's
my little
Elena.
sister.
And the straight hair.
She looks like a little nut. It's so funny.
Oh my god, look at my brother. Look at him styling.
Oh, he looks
Look
so
at Andrew.
cute. He always looked
Wow,
adorable.
And Lydia.
Travis Schwartz. That's who my sister had a huge
Okay.
crush on.
Oh.
Brianna.
Yep.
So funny.
That's
That's
crazy.
weird. I don't even
So
have
Andrew and Lydia were in the same grade somehow. I wonder, you guys are, if you're listening to this, I want you to weigh in. Like, was that how it always was?
Andrew and who?
Andrew and Lydia, my brother and sister.
Oh.
They're 2 years apart, I think. Somehow they're both in the 2nd grade. And he looks like a stud though, for real.
He
like,
looks so nice.
is he wearing a lapel pin too?
He is.
Jesus,
yeah,
since
lapel
he was
pin, a
little
full
like
like
that.
tie.
Legit.
Yeah, that's
Look,
how I
okay,
remember
here,
seeing
listen,
him
so,
always.
So Andrew in 2nd grade is wearing a suit and tie with a lapel pin, and Stuart in
That's
8th
it.
grade is wearing like a plain. Well, I am even wearing. I'm
White
wearing,
button
but
up
I'm
with
only
the
wearing a tie. I was gonna say
Didn't we
because I
have to wear
had to, but
ties?
these fools aren't wearing ties.
Oh, you had to wear ties and shirts or button-ups, I think is what, like a polo.
Oh, okay, this was one or the other.
But it was picture day, so you were
Yeah, so
probably
I-
dressed up a little bit
Yeah,
more.
that's probably what it was. But Andrew, man,
He looks
he's
nice.
styling. He's
he
killing
always
it.
looked like that, though.
He did. You're right. He did.
Always looked nice.
So there's.
Susie Rack, she was crazy.
Yes, I
She
remember
went
her
to-
vaguely.
That was all the backs. They went to church with us. And
Yes. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
remembering them now.
Yeah.
This is bringing back memories. Yeah, I don't know any. I mean, they're 1st grade. I was 7th. I don't know. Unless it's a sibling, I'm not going to know.
Crystal Fishburne. Yeah, I remember some of these people, that's for sure.
All right, now we're going to have K4, which.
Oh, yeah, young. I'm still going to remember some of these.
Yeah, I bet.
Desiree Witt,
Oh,
yeah.
This guy, you know.
My little brother. Oh, he's so handsome.
He is.
He's always been such a cutie. Oh, he was a troublemaker.
Corey.
Corey.
That's funny.
Victoria.
Yep. Okay. Yeah.
There we go. You can
We're not
see
to
the crazy.
we're not to that part of the conversation yet.
You can see it.
It's just beaming off of her.
Boiling.
Boiling. Accurate.
Just
It's
about
very
to lose
accurate.
it. It's fine.
Sports.
Oh, that's so cute. We were the Lions. Rawr.
Rawr. Yeah, we were the Lions. That's why this is called the.
R.I.T. Spirit. Let's hear it.
What was the? I knew they did the bananas one too. I remember that one.
B-A-N-A-N-A-S.
Yes.
I don't remember how the whole
That's
thing
it.
goes.
No, that's
I
it.
have
That's
no
all.
idea.
You remember more than me.
I was telling my girlfriend the other
Uh-huh.
day just how some of our friends, we would basically, there's this little cheer that we did when we were younger, which you'd all stand in a line,
Yep.
and the first girl would go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My name is Tiffany, and I say hi. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want you to meet my friend.
Oh
And then
my
you jump out of the way and
God.
you point to the next person, and they hop up with all of their enthusiasm
What
and
is
start
this-
the whole thing
what
over
is
again.
this-
It accomplishes absolutely
Right,
nothing.
but
But,
what
like-
is it for?
It's to let people know your
Who you
name.
are. I think there's a way easier way to do
This
that.
is
I'm just
something
gonna go out
that
on a
third
limb.
grade girls needed to do,
Oh
apparently.
my god, that's incredible. I think sports is gonna be more like for me trying to figure shit out. I didn't play soccer. That shit's too hard.
No, I loved soccer. I didn't play it, but well, I did later.
We
but,
played it in gym a lot or whatever.
Yeah.
Uh,
Stephanie
there's
serving.
the- serving up an ace.
Who knows if that's what
I don't-
actually
yeah,
happened?
who knows? There's Monica. Two birds of a
She's
feather.
always smiling so big.
I know. And what's her name?
It's Kaylee.
Kaylee. I keep forgetting her name.
Kaylee Howard.
Okay, I'm gonna look her up on Facebook after
So
this.
pretty.
Yes. And the guy's soccer. I think they were. I feel like
They were pretty good. Our
actually.
soccer
Yeah.
team, I think, was pretty good.
I think they even put up a fight against
Chase
HB.
actually like still coaches soccer
Does
to
he
this
really?
day. Like a really good
Yeah.
team
I
from what
believe
I can remember.
I believe it. Is Tommy playing soccer too? Wouldn't surprise me. Let's see. Yeah, Tommy Blackburn. Huh? I didn't know he played soccer too. Now I feel like an asshole for not remembering that. Oh, that's crazy. And then someone got injured. Okay. Varsity cheerleading. I definitely looked forward to that, even though I never really got a glimpse of anything.
No, there was never a glimpse of anything to be had.
It wasn't.
Wow, I didn't see her in the pictures. Rebecca Pets.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I was just gonna point her out. Like, who is that?
Oh, dude, she was an interesting.
Sounds like that's a nice way of putting it.
She was fascinating. I don't really know, and I mean, I was young, and I probably had a really skewed version of things,
For
and we're not
sure.
still friends to this day and haven't really talked or anything. But, like, she was one of those people where I was like, you need to keep your distance. You need to watch that one.
So me and, sorry, Stuart, Mick, Michael, and Tommy, we all outlined our names.
This must have been something for Spirit
Oh, for
Week.
sure, yeah.
Faith is dressed up as the Cowardly
So
Lion.
cute, so cute.
Oh, I was the Tin Man one year for Spirit
Nice.
Week,
Did
and
you
I was
paint your-
completely silver, top
Okay.
to bottom, with a funnel in my head and everything. So good.
That's terrific.
I spray painted my hair. Silver.
I need to see who got cut out. I don't know who got cut out.
No.
That's crazy. Because I can't
more
tell
Iverson
Iverson stuff. It's because it's a night egg. It's
So
They have to
funny.
be super
I
cool.
know.
I've fallen and I can't get up, Mark. Now I want to know who got cut out because it was one of. It's something. It's this page. It's something from
He was
junior varsity.
idolizing more people.
Hopefully not someone from junior varsity basketball.
Who knows? It may have been a coach or something about him.
No, I don't know who. Really.
I don't
think so.
I don't know.
At any rate, I appreciate you trying to give me marks, but it doesn't. It's not going to work. The one thing I do remember about.
I think I might have made that sign.
Yeah.
It's definitely my writing.
That's your work.
That's pretty sure that's
terrific.
me. Go Lions with a big old weird paw print.
Yeah.
Lions only have 3 toes. I
Just
don't
in
know
case
if
you guys
know,
didn't
but
know.
3
toes. That's it. There are no
That's
more.
all.
That's
One
all.
big pad in the middle and
That's
3
that's the
toes.
max. So I gotta get to our picture because I need to remember. Yes. Okay. So the junior varsity and varsity ball teams had newer jerseys.
Okay.
Nicer jerseys.
Right.
Jerseys that weren't Larry Bird fucking status. Ours were.
Ooh.
These things. Do you see? Look at the stretches here. No. Look at how stretched these are. We are like in our picture. We're on our knees. And the tall guys in the back are standing up, and then we're on our knees, and we're like stretching these shorts out because they are hiking way up the crotch.
No.
I will not forget that. That was terrible. I hated those refs clearly because I drew more purple glasses. I think purple was just what I had, the pin that
Probably.
I had when I got this.
Oh
yearbook.
wow, horns on
Yeah,
that one and a
horns.
choker.
Yeah, there's horns on this one too up here. But so our ball team was Jason Beeman, me, Tommy Blackburn, Ryan McDaniel, Michael Carlson, Dustin Snyder, and Coach Clavon. I'm friends with Dustin and Tommy and Jason on Facebook. The only reason I'm not with Michael is because either I can't find him or I haven't looked for him in a long time. And you can't see in this picture, but I was wearing 2 pairs of socks because I thought it looked cool. I don't know.
The things we think.
I'm telling you. No, but now we have different jerseys here.
Were those like away and
No, I don't think so. Unless they took these all at the same game, which is quite possible.
that would be hilarious.
But it is, though. It's all in our gym. None of them are away pictures.
Mm-mm.
What was my number? 44, Keith Van Horn.
Well,
Yes.
they couldn't get like a travel photographer.
That's
for
not going to
that
happen.
team.
Not
Like,
for us.
No.
Not for us. Yeah, look, okay. So these are different jerseys, but still super short. This is me. Like, I'm trying to pull down my shorts. They're just. I remember Ryan McDaniel. We're not friends. Ryan McDaniel. I remember you had to wear like you couldn't wear like regular boxer shorts with these. You just couldn't. Because I
Right.
remember a ref calling him out like, "Hey, fix your shorts." But it was just he was just wearing boxer shorts,
Yeah.
but they stuck out because these things were so fucking tiny.
Oh my
That was
gosh.
terrible. Old timers game.
Oh, that's always fun.
I don't even remember what is that.
It's where the old
Like the teachers?
Yeah.
The teachers play like the varsity or some
Yeah.
shit? Huh.
It's It's fun.
Coach Clavon didn't play. What a bum. Just kidding. I love you, Mr. Clavon. You will never see this, so. Trying on him again.
You hated Mr. Full of Hair.
No, Wardlow.
Sorry,
We were
Wardlow,
not friends. Let's see if my sportsmanship award made it in here, because I got a sportsmanship. I did. Stuart Hardy for sportsmanship. You little fucking pussy. That's what it should say.
Aww. So cute.
That's hilarious.
I wonder if I got any kind of awards. Probably not. I tried to stay as far away from anything as possible.
Bless you. Bless you. That's a seizure.
Goodness
not a sneeze.
glaciers.
Goodness glaciers. That's okay. Good. I don't feel so bad. So Michael Riffle also got sportsmanship. I feel better. Michael Carlson got most
At
improved.
least you didn't get most improved.
Yeah. Michael Carlson got most improved. Ooh, good job.
You did it.
Yeah. Activities. Oh boy.
Ooh, outfit time.
Leadership conference. All these Letterman's jackets.
Letterman jackets.
I never got one of those.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
The letters for them, but
I didn't even get the letters.
didn't get the jackets.
The school I graduated from was too ghetto for such things. Mr. Hagen Bush, king of the road. Badass. Oh my god.
I was never a fan.
Insane. Thanksgiving banquet. These are things that I don't really remember. I remember Mr. Clavon.
Definitely remember the Thanksgiving banquet.
Yeah? I mean, it's quite a deal here. Like, they got Noah's
Oh, it's
Ark.
a huge deal. They
Yeah?
bring in, like, all the parents and everything, and,
Is it like an Easter
the
play
kids
kind of
serve
thing?
them, like, Thanksgiving dinner, and it's a big deal. Like,
Oh, I don't
everybody
remember
comes,
that.
the whole church, whole school, like, anybody that has a kid there, we do a whole pageant and, like, a show and
I
everything.
don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Christmas program. I got in on that. You sang a holy night.
I'm sure I'm in there somewhere.
Well, let's fucking find you. Let's look for the hair. There's Lydia.
Hilarious.
Stephanie.
I'm probably, like, right
Right
behind your hands, yeah.
God damn it.
That's probably exactly where I am. There's
What?
a bunch
No,
of kids down here.
I don't see you.
Me neither, dude.
And these are fucking babies.
I did a lot of singing. I was never
Yeah,
afraid to be in
I
front of
bet you're in
people.
there somewhere.
I'm
but
sure.
there's no way to see Casey Flynn on the keyboard.
Yeah, I took lead on a lot of the theater
Yeah?
productions and stuff. Yeah.
That makes sense. Christmas parties. Christmas is fun. Is it my turn? Oh, God, you guys were so bad at captions. This is neat. That's a caption on a picture. I professionally
This
write.
is neat.
I professionally write captions on pictures now for a living, so I'm going to judge
What's
this shit
so
out of you guys.
interesting?
What's
Christmas is fun.
I love
I
presents.
love presents.
Having a great time. What the fuck?
This is before hashtags were a thing.
Definitely. Oh my god. Were they a couple, these two? Because they look like one. I feel like they were.
They probably were for a
Yeah.
while.
They
Everybody was a couple
Yeah,
for a while.
that's
It's
true.
not like there weren't.
There
There was
wasn't-
anybody else
no,
to pick
there,
from.
There wasn't a lot of. There was a lot of
Right.
swapping going on.
Ooh.
You know I'm not wrong. Oh,
I don't
man.
even want to know what was actually going on.
No, that's true. None of us do. Whoa. That's George's. That's Tommy's brother George. He took Kaylee to something.
Looks like it. Some Christmas banquet.
Okay, that is very interesting. Who's Matthew with? I don't know who the fuck that is.
I don't either. Oh,
Most
there's
of them.
Ariane.
I remember
She
her.
definitely babysat me for quite a while.
Yeah. This is a book of
That's
babysitters for you.
Ashton Soria's older sister, Ariane.
No.
And she was awesome. She was super cool because she
Yeah.
was a little like darker, so a little into like darker colors
Right.
and darker lipstick.
Little
and she would wear
gothy-ish.
like and she
Yeah.
was into dragons and stuff
hell
like
yeah.
that. And so
That's cool
I was
shit.
always really interested in her. Now
Uh-huh.
she's married and has 3 or 4 kids, and like she's super cool still.
Good. Good for
Really
her.
Like her.
That's rad. Oh god, I hated that
Wow,
referee.
quite the artist, Stuart.
I know that's my work for sure.
Purple.
Oh my god.
You were
Oh.
super bored one night.
Yeah, for sure. So I remember this. So see these jerseys? These are the old jerseys. So we were having a tournament, and junior varsity had to wear our jerseys, and they bitched about it. And we're like, yeah, we know. We have to wear these shits all the time, even on the road. Yeah, we were like, see what it is, guys? See what you get? We were super pissed.
That's funny.
Oh, man. That's us. So we played, I know this is boring, stupid stuff. We played one game in the Invitational. We were playing look at those fuckers even got team shoes.
No, that's
We
funny.
got shit. So we played one game against like a varsity team.
Yeah.
Because a team was missing from the tournament. So we were literally the
Oh.
sacrificial lamb, and we got murdered. It
Oh,
was
no.
terrible. Bob Jones University. It must have been Invitational. Looks like.
Interesting.
Yeah, Invitational. There it is.
Mhm.
Who cares? Spirit
Spirit
Week pep rally.
This you might be able to find me
I
in.
bet.
Because I put together some baller costumes. That's one thing I could always do is dress up. I was like, oh my god,
Is
this
that
is
you?
Halloween. Maybe.
No one else in school had that hair.
That's true.
It
That
has
does
to
look
be.
like
Oh,
me.
this is a different Tin Man.
Oh yeah, there were lots because we had like it was a Wizard
Did
of
we
Oz
have?
day.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
pretty
right.
sure.
Yeah, I'm sure we did. I'm not seeing any though, other
I
than
am
that
not
picture.
either. I thought maybe, just
Boo.
maybe. I was hoping for something good.
Yeah, sorry. Well, the yearbook is only half over now, so
Darn.
still, you seem pretty upset about this.
I am. I just wanted a good costume.
Oh, hey, and
Hey,
Spirit
there's
Week
more.
continued.
Let's see.
Oh, the cheerleaders dressed up as cheerleaders? How original.
Crazy.
There's Leah.
Yeah.
Not dressed up as anything, I don't think.
Leah was definitely more popular than I was. That's
Really?
For sure. Oh yeah, definitely.
Very interesting.
She was way cooler than I was. I was just kind of a bitch, honestly. I had a terrible temper and couldn't quite figure out how to harness it, and so I was kind
Well,
of a
you weren't in the
bitch.
right environment to figure out how to harness it either.
True. Took me years. I'm not in these. He's not.
I know, you didn't make it.
I did a good job hiding.
Yeah, you did, even with your cool outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Homecoming, that's Tommy's dad, George. That's a whole bunch of McLeans. What was,
all
what
of
was
them.
Homecoming?
Oh,
What was
Mitchell, you look so cute.
that? Yeah,
Adorable.
for sure.
Oh wow, yeah, it's all of the McLeans
Yeah.
and Mom.
Yeah. Oh my god, are these like awards? Okay, I'm sorry,
Yep.
I'm not gonna read through these.
Oh, that's so funny. Let's see here.
Oh, but let's see if you got one though.
I'm
Hang on.
pretty sure I did.
Let's find you.
Let's see here.
Will
Are
you
they
be
in-
back over here? What kind of order is it in? Elementary. Yeah, so you would be here.
Definitely didn't get them for anything like.
Any Jesus shit?
Well, Jesus shit would probably be what I got
Well,
it
that's
for.
what I'm saying.
Like
There
the
was-
memorization of
Yeah,
Bible
history,
verses.
science, honor
Because
roll.
I have a Bible verse memorization like certificate from
Do you
Mr.
really?
Will's class. Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
have one.
I have a Bible college degree with a pedophile's signature on it.
Ooh.
It's pretty sweet shit. Okay. No
it
honor
definitely
roll for you.
wasn't on honor roll. I knew that.
Reading, penmanship, spelling, honor roll, Christian character traits. Oh, that's first grade.
I just didn't really get a whole lot of awards. I was in trouble more than I was getting awards.
Well, so the only Bible memorization I'm seeing is for like kindergarten.
Mm-hmm.
That's not
We
helping
all
us.
had them though.
Yeah, for sure.
Christian character, yeah. I don't know.
That's first grade. These are okay. Whoever did
Aw,
this
cute.
yearbook, what is this now? 18 years ago.
Yeah.
18 years ago, you fucked up. I'm just gonna tell you right now.
I will say this, my little sister Elena, which makes total sense, she got a Christian
get?
character trait award for respectfulness.
Hmm.
Just so you know, she was faking it the whole time.
Ha
She was
ha.
calling you a bitch behind your back, whoever you are, and now she's feisty.
She gamed the system. She
She's-
came out on top.
Right, exactly.
So
Oh,
maybe
Elena
scripture-
Duncan is in scripture memorization over
Andrew,
there.
oh, look at all the Hardys, except for me.
I'm sure Kaylee's
Andrew,
in there.
Leah,
Kaylee
and Lydia.
Johnson. Yeah, Kaylee was
Yeah.
stupid good at memorization. Crazy good. Always was. Spellathon, hilarious. Yeah, dude, I just didn't make the
You
list.
didn't make any of the lists.
Uh-uh.
These are a lot of lists, and you're not on any
A
of
lot
them.
of lists I am not on.
Oh, that's hilarious.
School was not my favorite thing.
Yeah, me neither.
Never.
I sucked at it.
I did too.
High fives. Okay, see, I don't care about that shit. What did Tommy do?
Show that one. Stephanie, I'll do it. Stephanie, you've got, have you
I am
seen
totally
this?
sending this to her.
Stephanie, you look so cool. This is straight up a model shot. Gorgeous.
I love it.
Just beautiful.
I didn't do that, Stephanie. That's all her.
Look at these boys.
I'm one of them.
Hilarious.
Look at that part.
You guys are
Look at how
ridiculous.
high up So I have the dumbest looking part here. You're not.
Can you
don't-
not see
try
it?
it? But
Can
I
you
don't know if
try
it'll be.
it?
So it's not.
Hold on. Okay, so here are all the boys, and then this one's Stuart. If you can see this freaking crazy part right here.
I will say
What are
this.
they doing?
I will say this for me at that age. That's a great hairline. It is not there anymore. It is definitely moving. But that part is like, it's not the preacher part way on the side where it should be, and it's not in the middle. Like, it's acceptable either of those places. It's direct in between. Like, it's stupid.
I just got to elementary field trips.
Okay.
I'm
That's
also
fine
not
here.
in any of these because I was always in trouble. And
So you
the
didn't get to
system,
go?
I never got to go on any of
Really?
these. No, they made me sit in a room with Joe, who was my, the other person that was always
That was
in
in
trouble
trouble?
with me. Because we were always in trouble together, and like that's why. Always
I love
causing
it.
trouble. So in elementary school, I can't remember, I think it was 4th grade. We were standing at the top of a hill, and there was
Mhm.
this massive log that had been cut down, huge tree.
I don't like this story already.
Oh no, it's bad. We all decided at the top of this hill, me, Joe, and Jason, my two, best friends,
Sidekicks.
they hop on the ends of this log, and I hop into the middle. And we're rocking it back and forth in like 4th grade, and it starts to roll down this hill, and they jump off the edges,
Yeah.
and I can't make it. So I'm trying to scramble down this hill as this massive log is
Are
rolling
you like
after
running
me.
on? Oh, okay,
Like
okay.
scrambling, like legs and feet scrambling. This thing is running after me, and then it finally hits my leg and rolls like halfway up my leg.
Ow, fuck.
Completely crushed my ankle into the ground.
No
I
shit.
had to go have surgery.
Are you serious?
Not joking.
Oh
Like,
my
not
god.
joking.
How
Penny,
old were you? Yeah,
4th
okay.
grade, yeah, like 10, I don't know.
Jesus.
But Penny ended up running down and like picking me up, and everybody pushed it off, and
As
she
Penny
ran me back
does.
up. Right.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
That
But
is
yeah, those
crazy.
boys, my sidekicks, we were always in trouble.
I'm sending pictures to my siblings after
Well,
this.
that's a good
Look
one.
at Andrew. He's
That's a
super
good one.
stoked on something.
Probably just got to pet a goat.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
This is
him
like
again.
some kind of
Man, he
future.
had some dope shirts. Look at that shirt.
Oh my
That
gosh.
shirt's cool now.
You want to hear about one of my most embarrassing moments?
Yes. Is it about clothing? Because I have
Yes,
one too. All right,
it
I
is.
can't wait to tell you mine. Mine's
So the way that they did
remember
lineups
that.
after
Yeah, I remember
recess.
lining. Oh, I was thinking
So-
about after school. Yes.
Well, after recess, like boys are in one line, girls are in the
Yeah.
other. And basically, when you get done from recess, like you run in, you get a drink from the water fountain, go to the
Uh-huh.
bathroom or whatever, and then you run out and you get into your line, boys in one, girls in the
Yep.
other. Well, I like to be first in line because
Yeah.
I like to be first at everything.
Because you're you.
Because I'm me. So it's like, it's fall, and I have just been given by Stephanie Wardlow, my
Uh-huh.
best friend, a matching sweater and sweater skirt combo. It's so cute. And I loved it.
Hell
But it
yeah.
was getting a little warm, and I had
Yeah.
had that sweater over top of another sweater. And I had just gotten to the age where I think I was in 5th grade. My mom had just started telling me because I was in Mr. Riffle's class.
Right.
But she's like, you need to start wearing like a training bra or,
Oh, okay.
a slip or something.
Right.
And so she had just bought me a full-length slip. So I have a full-length slip under a 2-piece, like, sweater skirt type deal, which, by the way, makes things slip all over the place. Like, super weird. I have so many weird stories about slips. So,
We'll get into those.
right. So I run out. I'm the first one in the girls' line.
Uh-huh.
I'm standing up there. So it's Joe and Jason and RJ and, like, everybody else in the
Yeah.
line. And they're standing here. And I get a little hot because... it's
You're-
all over. I'm inside. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take off this sweater over
Right.
top of my sweater. So I
Right.
just whip it off, and I'm just standing there. So, it's a little cold in this hallway. And the boys are all giggling.
They're loving it.
And I look down, and I'm in just my slip.
Now I'm
Just my
giggling.
slip. And
me being who I am,
Yeah.
like I do take off into the bathroom, but instead of crying or freaking out, I laid in the middle of the bathroom on my back and just started dying laughing with my sweater in my hand. And the
That's the
girls were like,
spirit.
"Why are you naked?" I was like, "I'm not
fucking
naked.
naked.
I'm not naked. This is funny." They did not think it was funny.
To them, though.
I was almost in trouble.
Oh,
To
for
be-
sure.
Like, I was pretty
Yeah.
close to being in trouble. But...
I wore girls' pants.
Oh. How did that
day.
feel?
Little snug.
Mm.
if we're being honest. No, so that would have been the middle of 6th grade. We always bought our clothes secondhand.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize, I don't know how I didn't realize because of how they fit. I should have known.
Oh,
But
no.
like, it was, but here's the worst part. It wasn't like after I got home or before I could change in the morning. It was in the middle of the day when people kept making fun. And I was like,
Oh no.
what's your problem? The girl's pants, like whatever brand it was, like it was clearly a girl's brand, and it had the thing on the back.
Like Lucky across
Yeah,
the ass.
across the
You know?
ass. We weren't
Gorgeous.
It was 2000 something early,
Hilarious.
so we didn't have Juicy across our asses
Yeah, right.
yet. But
Not yet.
you know, it was the patch up here, like the
Yeah.
Levi's, or this side, and it was halfway through the day, and I realized what was going on, and I was like, oh God! And there's nothing I could do. I'm not gonna call my dad working at Grand Rental Station and be like,
Right.
hey, bring me some new jeans. Like, no, I'm fucked.
Yeah,
the
you're
rest of the
screwed
day,
now.
here I am in these girls'
And that's
jeans.
the thing too, like I maybe make myself sound a little bit old, but I don't feel like that's something I could have called my parents for. Like
No.
at that, like you don't
No, no.
bother your parents with
For-
insignificancies that
No,
small.
no, not
Like,
at all.
Especially not at work when I've got
No.
a fucking job. I am taking care
It's
of
not
my
like
8 children.
Picking up the phone to call Kip, bring my chopstick. Like, it's
Yeah,
not,
right.
You don't get to do that.
I
That's
feel
not-
like the other day I was working a job and one of the girls missed the bus
Mhm.
and she ran into the office where I was working and was
Right.
like, Mom, I missed the bus. Can you take me to school? And I was like, shit, if I'd have missed the bus and been like, Mom, take me to school,
walk.
she'd have beat my ass.
Yeah.
And then I'd have tried to, like, I don't know, figure out my own wings and flown there. Or
Right.
something.
No, you figure it out.
I
That's-
remember calling the
problem
police
solving.
officer that guarded one of the public schools that we were at and being like, Officer Lemon, I know that this isn't normal, but I missed the bus. Can you please pick me up? I'm scared of my mom. And he did. The officer
Really?
drove from the school, which was like 3 miles away in
No
Ligonier, and like
shit.
drove into town and picked me up and took me to
That's
school.
crazy.
I was like, thank you.
Wow.
But
It's a different time.
yeah.
It was. Parents' Day and Grandparents' Day. Oh boy. I'm sure my parents weren't there. Not saying that against them, just
Mrs. Overmeyer, she was a good woman.
Mhm.
I really liked her.
Yep.
Oh, there's Jordan Neidig. I was waiting for him. I didn't see him in the regular pictures.
Yeah, huh.
That's a good kid. I really like Jordan. I don't see anybody. Can I see a few of the riffles
Yeah,
over
the riffles.
here?
Well, it's trumpets.
An
Of course the
oar.
riffles are there.
Oh, they're so good.
They're talented as fuck. There's Leah and Samara. And you.
Oh, it's an ensemble. Yeah, it's for singing.
Ta-da! Yeah, well, of
I
course.
did singing.
All the singing. And you're
Oh,
gonna
there
do
I
your-
am. Vocal solo and a speech.
there
Oh my
you
God,
go.
the
academic
speech!
meet.
I gave a speech
Let's-
on, it was a comedic speech and it was about peanut butter. So I had to
Did you-
pretend
was
that I
it-
had peanut butter in my mouth, basically, and
Huh.
give this speech while my tongue was stuck to the top of my mouth. Is basically what was happening. So it was super fun. And then you talk about it being really slick, like thick, and you like lick it off a finger. It was the funniest speech, and I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, that is hilarious.
I ended up getting first place for
Good,
it, which
you
was
should
really
have.
cool. But I only had like 4 people in the whole room. Nobody wanted to come hear my speech.
Oh, no.
But it was so funny.
That's
I remember
hilarious.
one of the only things my mom ever came and actually like
Oh,
listened
that's
to,
cool.
and she heard me give the speech. She was like, "Wow, that was really good." But yeah, it was a memorized speech that you had
Yep.
to memorize, and then you presented
it
it and
as-
did. But I personally decided that throughout the whole speech I was going to stick
Peanut
my
butter.
tongue to the top of my mouth and make it seem like I had peanut butter stuck in my mouth, which was so much fun.
That's a great memory. Leah got something too. Spelling
Yeah.
bee. Yeah, that sounds right.
Tara Old Testament test.
Yeah, I didn't get anything.
Oh yeah, Hillary solo oil painting. She did a really good oil painting. I
Nice.
remember that. And Heather, yeah, she's a really good artist.
Huh?
Watercolor. Samara was always super
There
good
you
at
go.
history.
Looky, Robin Waldrop.
Yep.
Polychromatic drawing. Can't see
There's
it.
it's a fence and
And
there was
tree.
like a barn tree,
Yeah.
like It's really pretty. Spelling bee, Leah.
Yep.
Your sister. Math and science, Bethany. Makes sense. These are all the things that I would expect these people to be good at.
These
You're
are
like,
par
yeah,
for the
yeah,
course. Yeah,
yeah.
I knew it.
Right. God, my hair was crazy.
Just a little bit. Show them.
See, nobody ever taught me how to do my hair. That's okay.
You figured
I
it
figured
out.
it out. That's fine.
Fundraisers for London. Oh yeah, senior trip was London.
Oh, I wish.
Yeah, same. I did go to Cedar Point. Did I?
Oh yeah, Cedar Point
Sorry.
was my fave.
I just straight up
Scribbled out an entire
scribbled
face.
someone. I really think it's Kaylee. Was it Howard? I really think it's Kaylee.
Yeah, because there you
Yes.
are. Did you not like her?
I did not apparently. All right, you guys have to see this. Kaylee, if you ever find this or see this, forgive me. It's just too funny not to show. Apparently, I'm not a fan at all. Yikes, that's terrible. So this, Cedar
Kaylee,
Point.
if it
this
helps, I loved you and hated Heather.
There you go.
But Heather and I are now super cool. So.
I remember going to Cedar Point. My dad went with me to make sure I didn't have sex with anyone. I'm pretty sure that's why.
Oh,
I
that
was
makes
there.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Because, on roller coasters, that's the
That
best
is
time
where
to get it in.
Everyone has sex. All the sex.
It's the corkscrew. That's what it is.
That was good. No, it's not Kaylee. Because that's Kaylee, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Whose face did you scribble out? Is Ryan in there anywhere? Seems you had a bit of a
Probably
a thing
had.
towards him.
Had. No, not had. Have. That's ongoing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it could be Ryan. I don't know, though. Oh, this is going to bug me. And there's no way, there's no way to find that
Did he
out.
pop out the other side?
Right? I push him through. Nope, I guess not. So this is the London trip, which neither me nor you got to go on, so fuck it.
No. Nobody cares about that. Oh,
I gotta
so
talk to
funny.
Stephanie tonight and be like, are you good with your dad? Because clearly I was not for a very long
Yeah,
time.
we were not cool. Joel and Monica.
Oh, Mark and Dan. Oh, so here's the couples. Kurt and Melissa, Aaron and Amy. Wow, really, Aaron? Good job.
I know. They were not together. They just went together to this event just to put that out there.
There's no way.
No.
No offense, Aaron. We are friends on Facebook.
She just wanted a date.
Dan and Stephanie. They were a good couple, and I don't know if they're still together. I'm friends with Dan McCormick on Facebook. He looks like he has a happy life. I'm happy for him.
Oh, that's good.
Casey and Jennifer. Jason and Liz. I don't know most of these people. Joel, yes. They were definitely a couple. Joel and Monica,
Joel and Monica.
For sure.
Andrew and Megan. Andrew and Megan were definitely a couple, too.
Yeah. They're very alike. All right, well, I'm not in any of these pictures. Stephanie is, of course. There she is, playing the piano.
Again.
Senior breakfast. Who fucking cares? Oh, except me. Whoa. Pastor Ryan, I did not like.
No, you
Moron,
didn't.
jerk. I can't spell stupid. No,
Idiot,
stupid with a T.
Sorry, fool.
Fool.
Oh, that's a huge
retard,
one.
dummy, ignorant.
Gawad, gaywad.
Homo.
Hilarious.
Good grief.
Did not like him.
No, this yearbook is all about my bitterness. That's terrible.
I like this picture though. This next picture on the next page.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one right here.
Oh, Leah. Oh, those
Ooh,
are some
these culottes,
incredible
Leah, are
culottes.
killer.
I'm not putting that picture up
Pleated
there. She'll kill me,
culottes.
as she
Beautiful.
should. Oh my God.
God, I was good at hiding.
Yeah, you were. And you're not in here at all. It's Lindsay. A riffle.
No.
Matthew.
No, but my mom got her lip stung by a bee this day.
No shit. Bless you. You're allergic to Grace Baptist Academy. Is it Academy?
I'm allergic
Grace
to
Baptist
all
Christian School.
preachers, pastors, and religion.
Well, I'm not a preacher anymore.
No.
Oh my God.
I am dumb.
Oh, Ryan Wardlow. I'm so sorry,
Oh my
Ryan.
gosh.
Look, your dad gets stars.
I love it.
That's awesome.
My dad is very much loved by everyone,
By me.
especially Stuart.
Especially by me. Damn, I need to give that guy a call. Serious. I'm reliving all this
hey,
shit.
Daddy Duncan.
Hey,
Now look here.
Pastor Duncan is what I always called him. I remember
Don't
that.
call him that now.
No, I would not, but it was what I called him. Den staff. These are the fuckers that can't write captions.
The den staff.
Yes. Mark, I will never tire of your frosted tips. That's a beautiful thing. And Joel, is that Joel 90?
Yeah.
Such good work, guys. I'm sure Chase had them at some point too. All the cool kids. All right.
She was trouble.
Was she?
Yeah. She was basically like the whole dad thing. Like,
Really? Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
German club. Okay, I think this is just kind of like we have an extra page.
Yeah, right. We had a club.
We had a club. We'll just throw this together.
Well, who else
So
talked to
God
you?
Oh, there's more.
Aaron,
Who's
Ruthie
that?
Man.
Ruthie Man. Oh, okay.
Stuart.
Hey, what? That's definitely how it looks, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Miss ya over here. I'm still at Grace. Clearly, because you signed the book.
Oh, just here.
Blue Light Special? What was that?
Yes, hi, Blue Light Special.
What was that? I don't know what that was. I don't remember.
I mean, I immediately go Kmart.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think.
Obviously.
Lindsay.
You must have had inside jokes.
We definitely did with, who was that? Ruthie?
Ruthie.
Oh, Ruthie K. Man. You can, Danielle. Oh, man. Who's that?
Honey.
Cassie Shaw. Yeah, what's up? We got new b-ball jerseys, and my number is 55. Look at this, Jason Williams. 44 stings, 55 rules.
Hilarious.
Smile, you
Christy
know.
Shaw.
Christy Shaw.
Are you having fun?
Matt McLean. Stewie, hey, what's up? I miss you guys a lot. Say hi to Leah. What? Oh, Amy McDaniel. Tita misses. Wow, I don't remember a lot of these notes. I remember the people, but not all the notes. Damn, well, that's our yearbook. So that was a trip down memory lane.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right.
What we're going to do right now, really quick, is pause. We'll come right back. So hang out for just a second, guys. Actually, you won't have to hang out at all, but we're coming right back. I promise. Okay, and I'm not going to stop everything. I just need to see what
You go use the
John...
restroom.
Go for it. What John sent me like an hour ago, in case he's doing taxes right now.
Yeah, dude, you do you. That's totally cool. I'll probably be up crazy late like last year, so we'll see what happens. But we'll get her done.
Okay. Ah! Nice. Now it's going to be all different. Son of a bitch. I totally fucked it all up. Okay. Have some munchies. You can eat on the podcast. Huh?
I thought about it.
Do it. Do you want something? Eat something.
I'm good.
Okay. If you say so. All right. Okay. Cool. Okay, and we'll just come back. And we're back. We had to take a brief pause. We're back, and we were just talking about that took quite a while. I'm really glad. I'm glad it did. Though. Like, that was all very organic, and when she came by, I didn't let her look at it until right now. So all those were real reactions, and I haven't looked at it in probably a good 2 or 3 years. So, and I think if I remember right, I'm going to be selfish and talk about me for a second. I feel like that was sent to me. I feel like all those signatures and everything happened at Grace, and then someone, and they got all the signatures. Someone did that for me. I wonder who that was. Props to you, whoever that was, that got those signatures for me, because That's awesome. So we grew up in a similar construct in the Independent Fundamental Baptist movement. And I know I generally tend to have fellas on the podcast that grew up in that movement just because that's who's accessible to me. Not that I don't have a problem with all of my John friends, because it seems like every guy I have on here is named John. But I always appreciate having a woman on that's had to grow up in that construct, because it is, while it is one and the same, I think it is very much different for women than it is for men, for a lot of reasons. But I want to kind of break that down, and something that I do want to talk about that we've talked about before that I think is really interesting is that, and I don't make this isn't to say someone's one way or someone's another way, but I took everything hook, line, and sinker. Like, didn't matter what it was, my dad, whatever pastor, whoever it was, like, I believed everything they said to the letter, even when it made no sense, or when, you know, I couldn't explain it to friends and family. I always believed it. I always bought it. We were talking earlier, and that was not the case with you.
Yeah.
Not that you disbelieved, you just had more of a questioning, and there was always a why for you. Because inside of any cult, but most especially for us, the one that we came from, there's a shitload of whys. Like, why is this a rule? Why is that wrong? Why is going to the movies not okay? Why, just all kinds of things. So if you could talk to that for a little bit, how did that play? I mean, not a day in the life so much, but how did that play out for you, having that as your narrative, like continually asking why? That couldn't have been beneficial towards you inside of that construct. There's just no way.
No.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, I started asking lots of questions as a young kid, because we had also mentioned earlier, like, the whole cult and what we were subjected to and where we were. There was a particular point in my life in the beginning when I was definitely part of the Independent Fundamental Baptist Church movement.
For sure.
But I wasn't in something that was quite as strict as what it had been before. So before I really would have started asking questions, things seemed pretty normal. Like, most people go to church, and most people
it's America.
wear dresses, as far as I'm concerned. As far as girls, you know, like, most girls wear dresses. Okay, this is pretty normal, and this is how this works. But when I got into, it was about like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I just started going to a new church, which you know of, and it's pretty darn strict.
I'm familiar.
And I started...
Very, very open church. Yeah.
And then I started asking questions. And it wasn't that I disbelieved anything that I was being taught. I was perfectly fine with wearing skirts down to my ankles, and I was perfectly fine with all of these, like, I know that sounds terrible.
Rules.
All of these, like, wild little rules and different things. I didn't care. But my big problem is that I was going to church here, and then I was going to a public school, or I was going out into the world and working a job. I've had a job since I was 8 years old. I've been serving, or like delivering papers.
Yep.
So, and then I started, you know, serving and bartending, you know, and as I got older. And so I wanted to know.
So you lived, so part of your life was lived inside of this cult, and part of it was lived in the real world.
Right.
And so that definitely generates a shitload of questions of like, why is everything that I'm taught, everything that's demonized here is normal there?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Really, I didn't even want to know why it was quite demonized.
Okay.
I just wanted to know, like, when my friends asked me why I couldn't go to the movies, I wanted to be able to be like, okay, well, this is why God says I can't go to the movies. Like, that's how good I was. Like, I didn't want to upset my parents. I never drank. I never smoked. I never left school early. I didn't play hooky. I didn't, like, date boys. I didn't do anything bad. I wanted to know why things were done the way that they were. So basically I could witness to my friends and tell them, this is why God says to do this, and this is why I think we should follow these rules.
Gotcha.
You know, and it was, I wanted to follow it. I wanted to believe it. But instead of somebody being like, okay, well, in John chapter 3, verse, you know, this is how this works, I would have sat down and soaked that shit up so fast.
Hell yeah.
I was like a sponge. I wanted to learn. I wanted to know what it was. But then instead of being like, okay, go look that up yourself, or try to figure it out, or see what you get and come back to me, or, you know, this is what I have.
Some kind of a solution.
Anything at all. It was more just, why are you asking this question? Why are you questioning God's authority? Why are you blaspheming? Why are you doing, you know? And it was like, oh, okay, well, this is not cool.
Yeah.
So every single question that I asked was answered that way. Yep. There was never a real reason why.
You're not going to get a concrete reason.
Right, and so when I couldn't, and I mean,
the reason is because most of the things, like, I didn't ask, why are we not allowed to commit adultery? Why can we not kill people? Like, these are pretty normal
Basic
answers, you know.
human
Why can
instincts,
we not steal from our friends?
Right.
You know, that's not what I was asking. It was more like, we discussed this earlier,
With the legalism, yeah.
The one church that I went to, we weren't allowed to wear heels over a certain height. We weren't allowed to wear earrings that were over a certain length long. It was like a dime or shorter. We weren't allowed to have our hair cut a certain way.
Hang on, let me back that up. So you're saying that if you wore an earring, it couldn't extend beyond the size of a dime?
Past your earlobe.
Past your earlobe.
A dime past your earlobe.
So, like, you are
Way,
super sinning right now.
such a sinner. But this one's okay.
Well,
I have two different earrings.
Yeah.
Can we see these?
Yes.
Hold on.
So
So this earring would
that would
probably
pass.
be okay. It's questionable.
close.
It is close. This earring, you're going to hell.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know these things or not.
Basket status.
Right?
Yeah.
Terrible.
100%. So, but that, again, like, sorry, there were
But
more.
these are the things that I would start to ask questions about. You
'Cause
know,
they
like,
just don't add up.
why can't I wear high heels? And why can't I wear, this was a huge one, why can't I wear blue nail polish or purple nail polish?
What?
Apparently, like, the big thing in our
Is that
church
the
was,
attire of an harlot?
well, not only that, but you were kind of telling the world that you were dead. Because when your fingers and your eyes are blue and purple, like, that's when you're dead. Like, your body starts to
That
turn
was
blue
like
and
a
purple.
legit-
So you don't want people to think that you're dead or
But
dead
that was a
inside.
legit,
So,
like,
yeah, we were
principle?
not. Yeah, that was
because
a huge
it looked like
deal.
you were dead.
Yeah, I mean, it was not something that you wanted. You wanted to look alive
Jesus
for God, and so you
Christ.
had to make sure, like, if
Well,
you were
then
going to
paint 'em
wear
orange.
colors, they needed to be pink, like red, like bright, pretty lady colors. Like, they could not be blue or purple. That's for sure. Terrible thing. So, like, I wanted to know why. Like, why is this a thing? You know.
I have a
And these
quick
were the
theory
things
on
that I
that
was
one.
poked
I have a
at.
quick theory on that one. I want to hear more of those rules because those are fucking insane. And that's why I like having.
I've got one that's gonna kill you
Can't
in a
wait.
second. I've been saving this.
Sweet. So this is why I like having you on because I don't even if I was at your church, I probably wouldn't have been aware of that rule
No,
I'm a
because
guy.
boys and girls were kept separate.
Right.
And we were told different things.
Right, exactly. You got to
Right.
manipulate your audience.
Mhm.
And so I have a theory and I have lots of them. If you watch this podcast, you're aware. So my theory is that the person in charge that's putting that whole thing in, that happens to be their type of fetish.
Oh
or something
yeah,
that they're
totally.
really into. So like I feel that whoever's like a fella by the name of Clifford, who still is at Housing College, who was kind of sort of a guest on the podcast. Anyways, he has a hair fetish. I promise you he does. That sounds weird, but there's fucking fetishes for everything. That dude is
There's something for everything.
super hung up on hair.
Like
So-
what? Like a particular kind of
No,
hair?
no,
or
just like
all
hair in general. That is
Oh.
his thing. I have had that man run his fingers through my hair.
Interesting.
Because I'm not passing a hair check. Like I had a friend of mine, so he was a big deal at the college.
Yeah.
So and a big thing towards the end of right around Christmas time, he and his wife would stand out front by the Christmas tree and take pictures. Big fucking ginormous Christmas tree, right? So he was standing out there taking pictures, and my friend John went up to take a picture with him, and stuck his hand out to shake this Clifford's hand. And when he did, Clifford just looked at him and was like, "I will not. I'm not going to shake your hand. I'm not going to take a picture with you unless there was a bathroom right there. Unless you go in that bathroom and comb your hair." That's just fucking weird, man. That's just fucking weird.
Interesting.
So that's my theory, is that, and I probably have already said this on another episode, but whatever. I think I have, my two theories are, if you're an IFB preacher or like some kind of fundamentalist preacher and there's a sin, air quotes, that you rail on consistently, it's probably something that either you feel like you're struggling with, more air quotes, it's probably not even a sin at all, or it's just your vice, it's your thing. I fully believe that because of the way that these stories break about these men.
Oh yeah.
And then that my other theory is the whole fetish thing. Like if you're really hung up on the way someone does something or wears something or whatever it is, that's your thing, man. When
Yeah.
you go to Pornhub, that is what you type in. Anyways, sorry.
Probably. No. You were very
I don't
correct.
think I'm wrong, but it's whatever.
No, I don't think so either.
What's the one that's I need it now?
So there was it wasn't necessarily like a rule. I would just say
But
it
it
was
was
something
understood.
very much understood.
Yeah.
And it was just for women, obviously. You'll realize why in just a moment.
I can't wait.
And it was weird because it was not just understood, it was basically like, it was kind of said, I don't know. Anyway, so I was told when you grow up and you get to, your point of puberty,
Yep.
you start to get your period.
You develop.
first of all, I wasn't told what a period was. I had no idea.
No,
so when it did happen, I was scared.
The big thing about your sexual organs and sexuality in and of itself in any way, shape, or form is it's so taboo.
Right.
I mean, now all the pastors are having sex with, you know, children and secretaries and whatnot. That's
totally
fine.
normal.
Right.
Right.
Totes normal. But like when it and they can speak it from the pulpit. They can say very overtly sexual things. But when it comes to you and your parents or you and your siblings or anyone else trying to figure this shit out, birds and the bees shit, you don't get that. No. You don't get that, and it's super fucked up. Anyway, sorry, that was my interjection. Continue.
No, you're totally fine.
Yes.
Where were we?
Periods, developing, puberty.
So, when I started my period, I was given pads immediately. So I'm like, okay, pads are what there is, and this is what we use.
Yeah.
Well, you start to grow up, and you know, I'm in a public school part of the time, and part of the time in church, and I start to realize, like, some girls wear tampons, and they think that these are better, and they work better, which, if you're a woman and you've ever worn a pad, that shit's disgusting. It's awful. It's like wearing, it's a dirty diaper is what you're wearing, and you are volunteering to wear this. It's awful.
Folks, this is why I like to have women on the podcast. This is not really a subject I can broach myself, so... There you have it. Pads are disgusting.
You feel gross, and it's bad. Anyways, so I approached my mother at one point in time
this
and was
is
like,
so great
Mom,
already.
it's gonna get better.
Oh my
Believe
God,
me, you're
how
about
can
to lose it.
All right.
So I asked my mom. I say, Mom, is this something I can try? Like, you know, can I try tampons? I don't know how they work. I don't know where they go. I don't know. I just know that this is a different option that other women have told me works better for them. So I go to my mom. I say, Mom, can I try tampons? And she goes, oh, no. No, you
like
can't.
Very dramatic.
Very,
like that?
very serious. You can't use tampons. Why? Can you
to
please
you, you're just looking
explain,
at it like it's an alternative method.
Right. Well, she explains very seriously.
Yes.
That only a whore would would feel comfortable putting something in her vagina like that and leaving it there. Like, only a whore would use a tampon.
You're shitting me.
I'm not. No. So I thought for years that so for like years and years and years, if a girl told me that she wore tampons, I'd be like, oh no.
She's a whore.
There's a
we
whore
can't
in the
be friends
room.
anymore.
You know, and I mean, these were my best friends. Like, my best friends growing up used tampons because their mom said it was okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, everybody's a whore. Everybody.
We're all
going to hell.
Oh my God, that's incredible.
And so I didn't for years and years and years and years and years. I did not wear them. I just stuck with pads because I thought for sure I'd be going to hell in a handbasket if I wore tampons.
Oh my God.
All of life was over.
There you have it, folks.
That's my favorite.
Ladies, don't be wearing tampons. You are... Wow, okay.
WHOR.
Filthy pirate hookers out there. I had to. Ron Burgundy just...
I just want to drop this. My job now is actually giving tours of what used to be a brothel 118 years ago. You're welcome.
Gotcha.
I am a tour guide in Alaska.
What is Michael... Do you watch The Office?
Yes.
What does Michael Scott say? How the turntables.
How the turntables have tables.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That sounds correct. God, that's crazy. But that's how, but I mean, I know this is it's going to sound like a stretch to some people, but that's just how it works inside of a cult. In a cult, yeah, I know, right? That's whatever.
It's funny, but it's not.
It's not. It is and it isn't, and it's all at the same time. In a cult, tampons make you a whore. Like, you go to anyone on the street anywhere and tell them that, and they're gonna be like, I should stab you right now. Like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Because it is dumb.
It is
dumb. And
it's
again, I'm a man. That's not something that I've had the luxury of experiencing. However, that sounds crazy as fuck, and she's telling you it sounds crazy as fuck. And if you think it doesn't sound crazy as fuck, you're fucked.
You're crazy.
Yeah, you're crazy. There you go. That's a better way.
I am crazy.
It's a much kinder way of saying it. So, but there's so much, again, fear and manipulation that goes on inside of a cult. Oh, yeah. I think that really speaks to it. I know that I haven't really delved in. I had a friend who was a guest. We delved into, she was Jehovah's Witness. We've talked about that.
Wow, okay.
Yeah,
cool.
so I think that was helpful for me to hear that.
One of my best friends is a Mormon, and I love talking to him.
Yeah.
Just because, like, the international, or like the Baptist movement, your fundamental Baptist movement, you have this
like they teach you that all other religions are
They're the devil.
terrible.
Yeah.
Like not only not right, but they're basically
bad.
like they are pushing people to hell. Like
Right.
they are the worst of all the terrible
Yes.
things. And so to now be old enough and like I have read the Quran now and I've read
Nice.
the Book of Mormon and
Oh,
I
yeah.
have done, I've done my research and
Yeah.
I've looked into these things and I've listened
Not
to
slanted
people.
research, your actual research.
Right, like
Yeah.
I've actually looked at this stuff and I've read other like spiritual books
Mhm.
that aren't necessarily like the Tao and the
Right.
Prince and just so many different things.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of it I totally don't believe. It's not like it's something that I need
You don't
to
have
put
to
my
believe it,
right.
though.
I just want to know.
You want to be
what's
well rounded.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with curiosity. So that's a beautiful thing. And I actually took a class at Fake Jesus College, as I like to call it, called Cults and Heresies.
Nice.
And they actually collected pamphlets from Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons. I don't know if they had anything for Catholics, but man, Catholics were railed against in my church, in every church I ever attended.
Did you ever hear the whole like the crossing thing?
Yeah.
Did you ever hear anything?
I heard them mocking. My
I've
head
heard
hurts. My head hurts, and my chest
heart
hurts,
and
I
where's
can't
my
find
pack of cigarettes?
Same shit, guys. That's funny.
So funny.
It's true
I've
though.
got a
Like
headache, a
yeah,
heartache, and where's my pack of
yeah,
cigarettes?
absolutely.
That's what it is.
Yep,
Yeah.
and that's so fucked up. Just leave it alone. Do your own religion. Like, why do you have to antagonize other people? Like, why take it to that level? If you're IFB, you knock on people's doors and you bug the shit out of them. Like, why do you get a pass to make fun of any other religion ever at all? You don't. Fuck you for that. But yeah, I remember taking a class called Cults and Heresies, and that was all we learned about was. And again, it's all about this is a word I use often when we talk about the IFB is demonizing. Like they're so big on making everything else so bad and every little thing you do so bad. And
Well,
again,
that's the only way to make themselves look normal.
there you go.
Like
Exactly.
is to make
That's
everything
so
else
well
look
said.
crazy.
Mhm.
Like that's
Because
especially
they are
when you're in
literally
it.
crazy.
Like,
Yeah,
they are. They're
exactly.
insane. Like I was insane.
Yeah,
It's cool.
same.
We were there.
Yep. So I know you've done, a little bit of research on Jonestown.
Mm-hmm.
So if I don't know, maybe just give us a little bit of a synopsis or just something that stands out to you about that. I mean,
Yeah.
we got bugs in here, son of a but yeah, just talk about if you want to talk about that a little bit. And I think something we had something we had talked about earlier, something you had said that was very interesting to me, especially because a real big thing that bugs the hell out of me, and it happens often, is people's the phrase that people that are still inside the cult or that just don't want to look at what we came out of as a cult. Well, why did you stay? Or why didn't you leave sooner? Or how could you not tell it was a cult?
Yeah.
But you said something earlier that was very telling, and it would happen, something that I think you said you kind of came to the realization as you're watching or doing your research on Jonestown, that really it could happen to anyone.
Absolutely anybody. Like I feel like it depends on where you are in your life and who you met and who introduced you to it and how they introduced you to it and how it, even my girlfriend was talking the other day. She said one of her best girlfriends who is ridiculously smart, spiritual in a way, but not like a God worshiper or anything, but like got kind of involved accidentally with a cult. And this stuff happens, and it's not like she realized it after about a short amount of time, was like oh shit, and
I'm in a cult.
but like it's something that we don't always realize because you meet somebody and they're really cool and they have a lot of the same ideals as you, and you're like, all right, cool, and you kind of scoot in, right. And I mean, as far as the Jonestown thing goes, I've done a lot of research on it in my past. I always found it to be a very interesting subject. If you don't know who Jim Jones is, please go look him up. Yeah. And I was telling you earlier, there's a podcast that I really like to listen to. My girlfriend introduced me to it. It's called The Last Podcast on the Left. It's 3 best friends who all do this podcast together. Basically, they do crazy amounts of research on true crime and serial killers and just different things. And they present you with this. So they have a 4 or 5 part podcast on Jim Jones and the whole beginnings, how he started it, where he came from, all the way to the end. So if you want to hear more about it, go there. But basically, he kind of just realized at a really young age that he could manipulate people with God. And so he really liked the socialism movement. He really liked, making everybody, he liked money and he liked other people working for what he wanted. And so he found a way to do that through God. And so what he would do is he'd travel around doing a traveling preaching type deal.
Right.
And he'd find a group and he'd listen to them. He'd be like, okay, what are these people like? Okay, they're very, very godly. So what I need to focus on in this particular message is God. Because that's what they want to hear. And then I'll throw in a little bit of socialism around the corner, and then we'll get them. And then he'd be in a group, and these people would be very much, communist, or very much the same thinking that he was. And that's what he would preach, and that's what he'd go for. And then when he got them into the cult, then he would preach God. And it was like whatever he needed to do to get people in,
Just
and wherever he needed to. And like one of the other big things he would do is they basically stacked the people's church worshipers in buses like you would like slaves over from England. So they would stack these people in decommissioned Greyhound buses. They'd take a bus that fit about 50 people and put 200.
You're
drive
shitting me.
Drive them from California and the Redwoods where they'd set up their commune. And drive them to like New York or North Carolina.
That far?
That far. And then they would take like 700 of their own church people to a gathering that they thought 50 to 100 people would show up at to show them that that's how many people come to one of Jim Jones's services.
Oh my
so then they would
God.
basically recruit all 100 people that actually showed up and take them all back to the Redwoods. So they just pack more people in these buses. And the thing was is when they showed up, they would give these people this beautiful vision.
Oh, yeah, of course.
They'd be like, we all live in this beautiful place in the Redwoods, and it's gorgeous, and it's wonderful, and this is what we do. And then they'd show up and realize that 37 people share 2 bathrooms and 4 bedrooms, and be like, oh, shit, this is where we live. And they can't get out of it because they've given everything to Jim Jones now. All of their money, they've sold their house, they've given away, all their clothes. And it's just crazy. So they get there, and they have nowhere else to go, and, it's like... And it's wild because you hear somebody that says something that you believe. Yeah, I believe that. Oh, and then there's something else, and I believe that. And you seem like a good guy. And, if God really is behind you, well, how else would you have cured that cancer? He did a lot of Benny Hinn stuff. Like, people would come up onto the stage. He'd go in the beginning of a service, much like any of his others, and he'd kind of walk around and he'd listen. Yep. And he would listen for somebody saying that they had a neck problem or a back problem or this or that.
Right.
And so he would call people out from the stage by name because he would hear them, like total strangers. Oh, I feel God is calling a George. George Michaels, are you here with an earache? An earache. And he would stand up, yes, I am. And so he'd get the stranger to come up there and he'd basically heal him of his earache. And for some fucking strange reason, he wasn't healing him, but because he didn't want to look like an idiot in front of that many people, he would say he was healed.
Well, it's
like,
a placebo. You got a placebo effect as well.
Right, true.
Because if this guy if he got his ass to that meeting, he's probably wanting to believe that.
Yeah.
And so if it's something, and I'm sure he didn't pick too many things that were cancer or tuberculosis. I'm sure it was mostly backache.
The cancer stories are good because he did
Really?
do cancer.
What?
Mm-hmm. So what he would do is he would pick a person out of the room that didn't know that they had cancer, but he knew. He knew that they had cancer.
How
so he would
fucked up
call
is
them
that?
up onto stage.
Because you really believe that guy, and that guy that's just fucked.
So he'd get called up onto stage, and there was this, I think it was a woman, don't quote me on this, I can't remember all of this, but I think it was a woman that was up there with him, who was supposed to be like his right-hand man, basically, for a while. And he would tell this person that they were suffering from cancer.
Right.
He'd do a little bit of like a weird thing with them.
mojo.
And then right when nobody else could see it, the woman would swoop in and shove chicken guts into their mouth, which would then immediately make them
vomit.
the chicken guts up, which was passing the cancer. So he had then gotten rid of their cancer. Now here's the fucked up part. You think that's screwed up.
That's
whatever
super fucked up.
people's church member was the closest on the floor would have to then grab those guts and eat them immediately to save anybody else from inspecting them and finding out that they were chicken guts. That's how dedicated they were to this man. They would grab up, they knew what it was, and they would grab them and eat them. So the second that you were inducted into his church, you were basically told all of his secrets, but told you had to keep, and they did, they followed him. Like, they would straight up just be like, okay, by the way, this is not cancer, this is chicken guts, and you need to eat them. Okay.
Jesus
and everybody
Christ.
did everything he wanted. Like, just...
So, I mean, we didn't get on the chicken... Jesus! We weren't on the chicken guts level, but I definitely recall a lot of things being done in the name of, like, serving the man of God.
I ate a whole egg.
Did you? Yeah, there you
for
go.
5,000 extra points at camp.
There you go. That's camp. That's a little different. We have to differentiate that. But I remember, so I'm gonna talk a little bit. Thank you for all that. That's fucking crazy.
Just kind of wild.
Crazy. But that to me that transitions to talking about man worship, and I know I've talked about it before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk about it again, guys. If you don't like this subject, just fast forward. We'll get to something crazier, raunchier for sure. But that to me speaks to like a high level of man worship.
Very.
And I remember when I was at Howells Anderson College, Jack Scott had the guys, once they get to these levels, they have these little things that they're easy for you to attach to.
Mm-hmm.
Like these little things about them, like they collect this thing, you can collect it too. Whatever it is. So with Jack Scott, have you heard of a God Loves Me sign? Like some people have different, and
my sister has one. Yeah.
I don't discount, and please don't take this the wrong way, anyone, because I'm not throwing that out the window. My mom has one. She swears by it. I love her for it. I think it's great. That's terrific. I don't have a problem with it, and I don't discredit it. But Jack Scott picked pennies. That was his God Loves Me sign. Weird, strange, crazy, whatever. Here's what was weird. For his birthday or something like, again, this isn't on, I'm sorry guys, I can't beat the chicken gut story. That's fucking amazing. This is about as close as I can get though. I remember it was on his birthday or something like that. His birthday's October 1st. I remember that because my birthday's October 2nd. Yikes. So his birthday came up and they did like a big drive for us to all get pennies. And we like fucking covered, have you been to Founders Park? Like the newer, the front entrance? That whole, like all those fucking bricks, we were covered with pennies. That's just fucking stupid. That's fucking stupid. Who's got to pick all those shits up?
Yeah.
Like that's just...
Somebody that worships it.
Yeah, for sure,
right.
yeah. But I mean, that's just one thing. I remember there's a lot of different things, but like the whole, I don't say it exists in every cult, but I think cults thrive on man worship.
Oh yeah,
and I think
they definitely do.
It's a big thing, and I remember very well idolizing Jack Scott amongst other famous preachers. In fact, and I'll just say names, I don't care. Do you know who Alan Donnelly is?
Oh yeah.
But he sounds exactly like Jack Hyles.
Yeah.
That's just, and I know I've talked about this before, but like, that's just the weirdest thing. Jack Hyles is dead. Stop impersonating him. I saw a video of Alan just a few months ago, and he's still wearing the same Jack Hyles ties.
No,
like, that was 10 years ago. No. Jack Hyles died in 2001.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Well, he just died the same year as September 11th. I remember that.
Wow.
But anyways, yeah, it's... The guy's been dead for years. Why are you still impersonating him? But that, to me, that just shows, like, you go to insane levels to propagate man worship. It's just, it's you can't really, in my mind, you can't really, like, I don't know how you justify it. You can't. But when you're inside, you don't, that's the thing. That's the thing about being inside a cult. You don't see it. You don't see it as man worship. You don't see it as wrong. It's the man of God. You love him. You do anything for him. That's all you can see. It's not man worship. I remember...
The only times, okay,
yeah,
so I did find a little bit of this man worship to be weird. This was another thing that I questioned.
Yeah, good.
The reason is because I had a pastor's wife, who her husband was, oh God, the head of the cult. Like, I can't even think, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I just can't think of a name to call him.
It's all good.
But like, his wife specifically, very, very sweet. Like, I think she maybe said a few things at times that were not necessary, but she was under his rule. But the way that she told us to worship our future husbands, and the way that she told us to, without question, there is never, ever, ever should be a time in your married life where you question your husband. Like, ever. No matter what he says, no matter what he does, if you know it's wrong, it doesn't matter what he says. It doesn't matter how wrong it is. It doesn't matter if maybe he's making a mistake or if he's making you look stupid. You let that man have the last say, the last word, because that's what's right, because he's the head of your household. Now later, maybe in private, you might be able to bring it up quietly and talk to him about it and maybe ask, but don't make it sound like you're actually questioning his authority, because that's not okay. And, you know, and she's straight up told us multiple times, if he does something and you know for sure it's wrong,
You do not go against him. You can bring it up later, but you do what he tells you to in the beginning, because whether it's even against the law, like I was told, even if it's against the law, God is your judge. The police are not your judge. No one else is your judge.
That I've heard before.
If you do something that you think is questionable, it doesn't matter if it's against any law whatsoever. As long as it's okay by God or okay by your husband, which is basically the same thing.
God and your husband,
because
same thing.
it's coming straight through him. Whatever God's words,
He's
they're
the head
coming
of the
straight
household.
through your husband.
Yep.
They never go to you. They go through your husband. So whatever he says is fine. So you follow him without question, without... And that always, like, as a 15, 16-year-old girl, I say, what? Now tell me, in what other situation, anywhere in the entire world, it's okay to not, like, without question, just do whatever someone says to do. Like,
regardless of legalities or police involvement. Like, that's, you
why
just
is
throw
it,
all that
why
away.
is it when it's my husband,
Right.
is that completely, like, just completely a different thing?
Unequivocally different.
Why? You know, and that's another question they could never answer for me, was why is
No,
it different
never.
here and not different? You know, it was just straight up, well, you're never going to find a husband. And I was like, that's great. Thank God I have a great girlfriend now.
It worked out. She didn't find one,
I
guys.
didn't want one.
Yeah. And I can't say that I've heard that exactly, but I've had people tell me, like, this is, you know, for the women, this is what we heard. This was our narrative. This is our life. So I never had to hear that personally, but I do recall being told not exactly the same, but a similar story. It's just like, it just doesn't. Yeah, man worship, whether it's the pastor, whether it's a husband, whoever it is, like, that's just fucking. People. There are evil people. I fully believe that. I try to believe in the good and look for the good in people and all that, but I fully believe there are very evil people out there.
True.
And they're going to do evil regardless. But you're giving them, evil or not, you're giving people a platform, a pass, the ability to just do whatever they want. Look, it's, a pedestal is exactly what it is. Yeah, raise those fuckers up.
Yeah.
But that's what you're doing, and I don't know, I can't say it's every day, but every week I'm seeing something in a support group or on my timeline about another pastor that's either a pedophile or just some kind of grisly crime that they're into. And again, I'm not saying it's because they're given that freedom, but that freedom does allow them and afford them the opportunities to do these awful, wicked, nasty things. I'm not saying they wouldn't do them otherwise, but why are we or anyone else sitting in a place where the person that's our higher power, and not for lack of a better word, that's absolutely what it is, why are we still allowing ourselves to sit in a place where this keeps happening over and over? I had my friend Mary on, and we talked about, the fact that if someone, you don't keep getting passes. Like, you do it once, whatever it is. If you get locked up, you get locked. Like, that's. I'm not saying our justice system isn't without flaws, but man, you're gonna get locked up quick for some of these things.
Yeah.
The same things you would get locked up quick for are the same things that it gets swept under the rug over and over and over and over again. And when I see one of these stories about a pastor, an assistant pastor, a bus director, whatever it is, a man in leadership at a church, and I see a story about pedophilia, child pornography, or even adultery, whatever it is, or there have been a lot of, actually the head of the Southern Baptist Convention, not less than a month ago, had to step down.
Really?
Very vague, very like, I was doing something that was inappropriate and my Lord and Savior, blah, blah, blah. It's always very like gray area shit. But that just happened within a month of today. That's happened. So when I see these things, the first thing that comes to my mind is, yes, you got caught, but that's not the first time. Whatever it is you've been doing, or whatever it is whatever it is you got busted for, that's not the first time. There's just no fucking way.
This is finally the time that, like, 20, 30 people know that it's happening, and you can't get away with it.
You can't hide it anymore.
We can't hide it anymore for you.
Yeah.
So
You're
as
fucked.
the church, so you're gonna have to just give it up.
You gotta
now.
own it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and sometimes
Own it or own something. Right.
Yeah,
They don't
right?
normally own what they actually
No,
did.
they never
They
do.
piece out
no.
as easily as they
Yep,
can.
they do.
Right.
And generally what happens is the story doesn't get to the media, or it doesn't get to the point where that happens. What it gets to is, we're going to put you in a different ministry.
Right.
Well, I won't go into names, but relatives of the man that I see as the founder of Independent Fundamental Baptist Movement, Jackie Boy, he's got family members that have been shuffled to different churches because of whatever indiscretion that they've committed. So I think that's where it starts. It starts with, okay, we're going to move you to this other church. But you're just putting the wolf in with more sheep. You're not helping anyone by doing that. You're making it worse. You're fucking over more people. You're hurting more people. So I don't know. I could go on for too long on that, but
Yeah, you could too.
yeah, I know. I know I covered it a lot, but I'm very passionate about that because it's real time.
Yeah.
That shit's still happening. People are still getting fucked over. Children are still getting molested and abused by leaders of churches. And the fact that it's still going on, and breaking news at the same time just blows my fucking mind. And the reason that it's happening is because we've got a lot of folks that have been hoodwinked, and when they see something, they're not going to say anything because they feel like it's not their place, or they feel like it's the man of God. He couldn't I saw something, but I'm not sure. He couldn't possibly be doing that. That's so far beneath him because he's on a level with God that I can't even get to. And that's a whole nother...
Well, maybe he and God have an understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
They
gotta
have
work
to
out.
find some way to...
Rape is cool with God because
Right.
of all the people that
Because
this
of
guy
who
led
you
to the
are.
Lord. I don't know, however you want to fucking label it. But again, the thing for me that gets me is the fact that it's still happening. We're seeing news stories. We're seeing things break. We're seeing these people go to prison and jail for this shit, but other people are still doing it. So I don't know. I think that's my big... There's a lot of qualms that I have with cults, and the one that we came out of specifically. Excuse me, but that's my big one, is the fact that you guys that are in it are allowing this shit to be propagated, and you're allowing it to be okay. And I don't say that to be mean or to yell at anyone. It's just like, hey, I need you guys to wake up. I need you guys to figure out this shit's going on. And a big problem that I've had on my timeline is people telling me, like, well, you can't paint us all with a broad brush, or you can't say that we're all, we're all the same. Like, yeah, but you put the same name on your sign. So you just called yourself all the same. But anyways, that's a whole other thing. I can get into that another time. I do want to talk about what women are taught inside. And you got into that a little bit with the lovely tampons.
Yes, right.
But I want to talk.
Window.
You're right.
Yeah.
Jesus, I can't believe that shit. I can believe it, but it's crazy. But in regards to like what is looked at in a because I'm trying to say this the right way, and this is not your mother's podcast, so it's fine. But like, there's so many distinctions and like what they would call dress standards that are put on women that are just fucking. They just don't make sense.
Right.
And again, I think they go back to fetishes, honestly, oftentimes. But what are some things, maybe growing up or as a teenager, that you came across that were just like, kind of common practice for women? Like, this is just what it is for women. This is how it is.
Mm-hmm.
But your why kept coming up. What are there some other things that come to mind?
Well, we mentioned like the earrings and the shoes and like just weird things like that. Another weird one for me was the whole skirt thing, which, I love dress. I'm wearing a dress right
She
now.
is. Look
I'm
at this.
29 years old, still wearing dresses basically every day. I love them. But my confusion was, it's like, if we're going on a go-kart ride, why can't I wear pants? Because those are honestly more decent than what I'm wearing. Because if I get in this go-kart, I'm going to be flashing everyone my underwear, and then I'm going to get it, and it's going to go flying over my head. Like, oh my God. I remember, you'll love this.
I'm sure I will.
One of the pastors, he was helping us and his wife and a few other people move into a new house that we were trying to move into. And this was out in like the middle of farmland somewhere. It's a windy day. It's blustery. I'm about 14 years old, and I bend over to pick up a box, and the wind blows my ankle-length skirt all the way over my head.
Oh, no.
And my rear end is just in the air, like bright pink underwear, just butt smack dab in the air. And like my pastor, my youth pastor, my dad, everyone is standing right behind me, just looking at my rear end, just in the air. And this was a time where I thought, why are we not wearing pants?
Yeah.
Like, why is this not happening? But that was never one that was quite answered for me. Like, there were a few little verses and things that they give you, but it never quite adds up for me.
There's verses, no, it doesn't. And there's verses in Deuteronomy, but the verse that they're referencing, I think that's the only one they've got, is a man or a woman not wearing attire that pertains to a man, something like that. But I don't know Greek. I actually failed Greek
Weren't
in
they
college.
wearing robes at that point?
They
in
were all
time?
wearing,
Like,
for
there was-
one, they were all wearing fucking robes.
Right.
Second thing is that the word attire there, or the attire of a man, is not applying to gender. It's applying to warrior, which was a big
Ah.
distinction in the Old Testament. Women didn't go to war.
Gotcha.
So why would
totally.
they wear the attire of a warrior? Yeah,
right.
so when you really break it down, these guys are absolutely full of shit, because what
Right.
they're telling you is you can't wear the attire of, of a man. Well, that's not even what the verse is saying.
Chain link
first of
armor's
all.
not really
Yeah.
my fashion style anyway.
It wasn't something you were into.
Exactly.
And like you said, your first point makes just as much sense. We're all wearing robes anyways, basically dresses.
Right.
How are you distinguishing the difference? Like, I'm sure there were differences, but it was still fucking dresses. But yeah, I agree with you. The dress standards were fucking nuts. And yeah, not wearing pants are not just go-karts or moving and a blustery day, as Pooh would say. Like, there's a lot of other different
There's a lot.
ways that, like, pants are just way more decent than dress. I'm not saying across
It's
the
also
board.
cold.
Yeah,
Like, think about, like,
freezing.
northern Indiana in the middle of winter. Like, South Bend, Indiana has about the third largest snowfall in all of United States, I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
I
Like,
believe
second
it.
to Buffalo, New York, and another
Oh, I
place in
didn't
New
know that.
York. Like, it's
Jesus.
crazy. So try walking around. It's basically, so I live in Alaska in the
Yeah,
summers,
yeah.
and we hike over a trail that's called the Chilkoot, just,
Okay.
for fun. It's like
Yeah.
33 and a half miles long. It's beautiful. It's really
That
cool.
doesn't sound like fun to me,
It's
but
beautiful. So
33 miles?
33 and a half miles long. You hike from, like, Alaska into Canada. It's
Kill me
beautiful.
now.
But the
I mean,
women,
all the more
like the
power to
women in
you,
the
but-
gold rush,
Yeah.
were attempting this in boots with high heels, like 2 petticoats, stockings, bloomers, like just a crazy amount of clothing.
Jesus Christ.
Like, and that's multiple skirts and petticoats and all of
Yeah.
that stuff. Like 25 pounds worth
Yeah,
of clothing
yeah.
is what they were attempting
Yeah.
this in. I can't wear 3 pounds of clothing without feeling like I'm going to die
Yeah.
from heat most
Yeah.
of the time. Like, in a weird, like, but like, in a skirt, like, a skirt trying to, like, with the wind and the snow and the, like, and have you ever tried to wear boots with a skirt? It's ugly. Like,
It doesn't look
if you
great.
look, the skirt's
It's
down to your
not-
ankles
and
and
your
then the
boots
boots
are
up
up
to your
here.
knees. It just looks bad. I look terrible for the first probably 18 years
Oh,
of my
no.
life. My fashion style was ridiculous.
Well, you didn't have
I
a
looked
choice.
terrible.
You didn't have a choice.
Right. But it was just kind of like hilarious as far
It
as what
is.
things look like and what you're made to wear and why this is how it has to be.
Yeah.
And I remember wearing, leggings, multiple pairs of leggings up underneath skirts, and then
Yeah.
boots, and just looking like a massive
Ridiculous.
marshmallow. And then
Yeah.
also you're going like 7 hours.
Excuse me.
So you'd start at 9 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday,
Mhm.
and then soul win until 3 p.m. on
Yep.
a Saturday. Like
Yep.
you're going door to door to door at 2 women by yourselves, door to door to
Super
door,
smart.
asking people to come to church. Like, can I come into your house and tell you about Jesus?
As I look
Because
like
it's
a fucking
cold.
freak.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, it's fucking cold. Like, please let me inside.
I mean, I
I
think
was
that's...
always just begging for somebody to let me in.
Yeah, please. It's warm in there. It looks
No.
warm.
It's so nice and inviting. But then again, maybe if you don't invite me in, she'll take me to the gas station and buy me a snack.
There you go. Yeah,
Like,
that's always a plus.
The person that you're soul winning with. But the other thing that I mentioned earlier was, and I think this is kind of important for especially a lot of the men to know, like, that we
Yeah.
grew up with, because a lot of the women know it, and whether you were in my exact, like, strictness of a church or
Right.
somewhere else, rape is our fault, like, as
Yeah.
women. Like, if you did get raped, or if you were molested, or, if you were talked down to, or if something bad happened to you by a man, somehow it was your fault.
You deserve that.
You were out at the wrong time of night.
Yep.
You said the wrong thing to the wrong person. You were alone. Your skirt was too short. Your top was too low. It was
Yep.
too tight. You didn't turn the lights on when you went outside. Like, something in there
Somehow
made
it's
it
your
your
fault.
fault. You enticed him. You said the wrong thing.
Yeah.
You made him think you wanted it. Somewhere in there, it was your fault.
So fucked up.
And so, honestly, like, I had a boyfriend for years,
Mhm.
and then he became my fiance, and then a lot of other stuff, and, like, we're friends now.
Good.
Like, we're good now.
Terrific.
But at the same time, like, there was a lot of stuff when we were younger, and I feel like he's come to a lot of terms with this stuff, and he's figured it out,
Yep.
and he's gotten through. But there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened with us, and a lot of it was the way he treated me was bad.
Yep.
It was abusive.
Okay.
And it was, you know, and I don't even think a lot of it was his fault necessarily.
Right.
I feel like, and I mean, he's taken blame for it. It was his fault. He
Right.
chose to make the decisions.
Right.
But at the same time, there were people that were basically telling him it was okay to make whatever decisions he was
Right,
making.
exactly.
And people that were
It
in
was
charge of him
reinforced.
that were telling him, right.
Yeah.
So, you know, it took me years to break up with this man
Yeah.
because I was being told the entire time that I was
Sure.
in an abusive relationship
Right.
with him, that if I did break up with him, that first of all, the whole thing was my fault and somehow
Yeah.
I could fix it.
Right.
Secondly, if I did leave him, I was never going to find anyone else that would take me because I had sex with him.
Oh yeah, no,
Like,
that's
I mean,
I'm familiar
I was
with that. Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
had sex with this
You're
man.
damaged goods.
I'm damaged.
Yep.
Right. I'll never be good for anyone else. No
Mhm.
one else will ever need me or want me or love me.
Yep.
So if I don't make it work with him, it'll never work
That's
with
your
anyone
one
else.
shot.
So you know, from I started dating him when I was 17, I think, and then we were together until after I was 21.
That's a long stint.
A long
Yeah.
time, and we didn't have sex until I was probably like right after 18 or right before 18.
Nice,
So you know,
okay.
I waited
Yeah,
a
yeah.
while,
Yeah.
and that was my first, and you know,
Yep.
and I was with him for a long time. But I thought for sure I could never leave him. Like,
No.
I mean, I was told by my mother, by my church, by anyone who knew, and I mean, a lot of people didn't know. A lot of people didn't know where we'd taken this at all. My brothers and
No.
sisters had no clue.
Right,
They knew
right.
that we were together. We held hands.
That
was it.
Yep.
But you
Well,
know,
that's the way that goes.
we did, and I knew for sure. I knew for sure I was never going to find anybody else. It took me years after I broke up with him, sober or not, to
Yeah.
not black out completely during sex with anyone else.
What?
I was so mentally
Oh, that
fucked
sucks.
that like it was unenjoyable for years. I
Wow.
couldn't differentiate between the I knew for some reason or because of all of this,
Yeah.
like I was going to hell for this.
Right.
I was never going to find another man that was going to love me. I was never going to get married. And so it was just like, I think somewhere in there my
Jesus.
mind just said, well, none of this is worth it. It doesn't matter. Like
Yeah.
it's ridiculous anyway. So like completely sober, drunk or high, didn't matter what I
You
did.
were
I
out.
blacked out completely from the time sex started till the time it ended.
That's
had no clue.
terrible.
So like it took me 2-3 years to work through that and like seriously sit down and think, okay, why is this happening?
That's
and
so
how do I get
intense.
out of this?
Yeah.
And how, and I mean, I'm not the only one. I know that there are
Oh,
tons
there's
of
no
women.
way you're the only one.
There are tons of women who did everything how they were supposed to.
Yep.
They got to 21, they found the right man, they got married to him, they had sex the first time, and they have post-traumatic stress disorder from the first time that they've had sex on.
Yep.
Because they were taught that sex is bad and they still have guilt, even though it's
Oh,
their
that's
husband.
so powerful. Yes.
Like, just
Yes.
because it's their husband,
Yes.
it doesn't matter. They were taught that their body is a clean vessel for God's use, basically only,
And now
and
it's fucked up.
they can't handle anything else.
Wow, that's really, I appreciate that perspective. I can't trying to like compare or say it's the same on the other side is not true at all. But the guilt factor, I spoke to that in a previous podcast. That's very real, because it's the demonization.
Yeah.
Sex is made to be just to keep the kids from having sex. You have to. I don't know. I'm not trying to say how you keep kids from having sex. That is not my
I
place.
don't even know why we're trying.
Right, exactly. At this point, but trying to keep them from having sex, they work so hard at it that, like you said, it brings incredible. Even when you do it the right, perfect way,
Right.
there's still guilt. There's
You've
still
just been told so much that it's bad.
Yes.
You just can't, after 21 years
How
of
do you-
telling somebody that something's
how do
bad,
you
all of a
split
sudden
from
be
that?
like,
oh
but
no,
it's
good.
okay because now you're married. Like, totally fine. And it's like, but I wasn't even allowed to watch porn. Like,
Right.
you know, and I
Not-
mean,
much less
like-
porn, swimsuits. Like,
exactly.
like-
Like, I couldn't even look through the JCPenney catalog and see what a bathing suit.
yeah.
One of my
I
exes
kind of
told me.
I kind of did look through the catalog.
One
I
of my
got
exes
caught a
told me
couple
that
times.
his sisters, when the very, very Christian ex,
Yeah, I know
when
what
the
you're- I know what you're
catalogs
gonna
would
say.
come in, they would either throw them away or they would marker out all of the women in the bras and the underwear. And I guess one time, like, my ex had this thing when he was like 6 or 7. He used to like to go through the catalogs
Yeah.
and match people's faces, see how many times the models would show up. But they had forgotten a section, and one of the sections had the bras still in it. Oh, full coverage JCPenney bras. Y'all know what those look like.
I've
It's
seen
ridiculous.
a lot of them.
Full coverage. It's basically war armor.
Yeah.
So, nude war armor. It's
Yeah.
sexy.
Yeah.
So
Hey, it was to
he-
me when I was his age. Trust me. That was
So
all I got. I got
worse.
that. Then there was so mine was pennies, but my parents didn't get pennies. They got
Sears.
I think
No?
Avon had like a very
Oh.
small section of
yeah,
underwear.
yeah, maybe one
That,
or two. Yeah, okay.
And then when I was delivering papers, we got ads for. Now I gotta remember because Kmart fucked me up for a while, or no, Walmart, because they would put their own people in for the ads. I was like, oh, I don't want to see that at all. It was bad. I don't know why I'm admitting all this shit, but whatever. And there was a store called, I think it was called Alco.
Alco.
In Knox,
yep,
right?
Yep.
And they would put actual underwear models in.
Oh,
that
that's
was
so funny.
that was my material. That was all I
So
got.
funny. But
I'm with him on that. Like that was.
He got in
yes.
so much trouble.
Oh,
He
he got
wasn't
caught.
even looking
I
at
didn't
it.
get- I didn't get
he
caught.
whipped it to the side and was like, "Okay, faces for models."
Yeah.
He's 6 years old. He's
Yeah, no,
not
no,
trying.
he wasn't getting
like
that.
he wasn't trying to do anything. He was just like faces for models.
Yeah.
And one of his sisters saw it, grabbed it, ripped it away from him, and threw it. Like they had a huge talk about it. Threw it in the trash. Punished him. So of course, like. Later, he wants to know what it was he wasn't supposed to be looking at.
Of course.
So he goes and digs it back out of the trash
Yeah.
and goes back to the page where he saw 2 seconds of a glimpse of it.
Right.
If they'd have just left it alone and been like, oh, we forgot some, can I borrow that for a second?
Exactly.
Grabbed it
Don't-
and been like, oh, interesting, and
Don't
tossed it.
traumatize the 6-year-old.
Right, so he went back and looked at it, and now he's a fucking sex fiend. Like, what did you want?
You fucked him all
You
up,
screwed
guys.
him up.
Yeah, Jesus. But that's that. Again, it's all that. That's funny. But it's all that guilt. There's so much guilt carried with it. And like you said, for 21 years or for however many years it is that you're able to hold off from having sex, and then you do have sex, and it's done the right way. You did it the right way. You,
You
didn't
did
do
it.
anything
You
wrong.
did everything you were
But it
supposed
does.
to do.
I love that point because I've had a similar conversation before, but I've never come to that. Excuse me, I'm
You're okay.
spitting out cherries. I've never come to that conclusion. That makes perfect sense. There's still you can't just suddenly divorce the guilt from the act. The act is still what was preached against from the time you were a very young child. You were hearing more shit from the pulpit about sex as a child than you probably than you got. Okay, I'm not saying that you would get in sex ed at all, right? Because you would get enough information, but like. So here's 13. From here to here, or wherever you have sex ed, you already heard a shitload of stuff about sex, but never in a let me
positive
explain
light.
this to you,
Yeah.
or let me help you understand, or look, this might sound weird because I'm your dad, but I want to talk to you about this. No. It was demonized, and women are wicked, and women wear pants, and you shouldn't be whatever. I can't even remember
Women
all
are
the things that were said.
manipulative and crazy, and like they have nothing. Like we also do not
What
love
else?
God.
Yeah,
in
no,
any way,
there's no
shape.
way.
Like we only love God because you guys
Right.
teach us how
Yeah.
to love God.
Exactly.
Like,
That's a very
you
real.
lead us
That's a
there.
very
You
real and
lead
true
us to
thing.
Jesus.
Yep. Yeah. That's absolutely how it is taught. That's 100% how it's taught. Because, like you said, the man, the head of the household, all that jazz. No matter what he does, it's not wrong. So you're only loving God to please the man. It's back to man worship again. But I'm so glad you brought that point up. All of them, as far as, and I do believe, working with my mother on a few things that, not just victim shaming, and we can get into that because that shit really pisses me off.
Oh,
But
yeah.
but on top of that, like I think it's a common mentality of a victim, and I'm not putting them down by saying this. IFB cult or not, I think it's a common mentality of women who've been victimized to try to figure out how or why it's their fault. And again, that's not to put them
Yes.
down. That's a societal problem that men have created and propagated since forever.
It's the first thing you think of when something
Yeah.
like that happens.
Exactly.
Like the second, or even if I'm walking through a crowd and a guy reaches out and grabs my butt,
Yeah.
my first thought is, what did I do to make that happen? Which is not the way that should ever
No,
happen. It should
no.
immediately be like, what the
The
fuck
fuck
were
is-
you thinking?
Yes,
Like,
exactly.
That's how it should come out. But I'm immediately like, is my skirt too short?
Right.
And that's
Damn.
that's how we're taught to think. And I
Yeah.
mean, I've gotten to where now I can
You're good.
immediately switch that around and be like, what the fuck were you thinking? And
Exactly.
like rip somebody apart.
Right.
I've also been working in bars and serving for years, so I'm pretty good at this.
You're good.
But at the same time, like that is the first one that
It's
hits
still
me.
an intrinsic thing.
It's the first thing
Yeah.
that hits me. Like, what did I do to make this come about? And you didn't. Somebody was a piece of shit.
Yep.
Like that had
There
nothing
you
to
go.
do with you.
I love that. No, that's good. That's accurate. You're right. And I think the thing for me to speak to with all of that is to say, not that it's natural or right or okay, but you're already going to feel that way. Being inside of this specific cult makes it that much worse.
Right.
It pushes your mind even further into that space. Am I correct in saying that?
Definitely.
That's just so, I don't know. It's so fucked up.
Because I mean, in our patriarchal society, which I mean, whatever. I have nothing against men.
Yeah,
like,
but
you
that's what it is. That's what it is. Though.
Right.
And Jack Hyles, sorry, can you keep that thought?
Yeah.
Because I'm interrupting you
You're
really
fine.
quick. Jack Hyles, who founded this whole shebang, so much of the IFB is based on 1950s ideology, white picket fence shit. That's why the guys are always wearing the ties, not always with the suit coat. That's why the ladies got to wear the dresses super, super long. Like, you look at from the dress standards to the way they wore his fucking glasses to the way they idolized. And I have friends and family in the military. This is not a dig at them at all, but they idolize militaristic people. Clifford will go on and on and on and on and on about his father who served in World War II, I think. I also feel that story is partially a farce, but we can talk about it later. But they really idolize that whole, like, military everything. When I went to Hyles Anderson College, they called it the boot camp of fundamentalism. That was what they called it.
Do you remember the youth conference that was all about the soldiers guarding the unknown tomb? Like, I still have my... Was it a youth conference?
I remember a youth conference where the flyer was Jack Hyles in front of a fucking tank with an army outfit on.
No, this was a Jack Scott one.
Okay.
This was
What do you have from it?
I have a coin, and it was like, this is the
coin.
guarding of, like, the soldiers of the unknown tomb. So, like, when they switched
Yes.
guard and, like...
I think I was on tour that year. I had that coin for a while.
The whole,
Those are actually pretty cool coins.
The whole thing about it was basically these soldiers and how they give up, like, a huge portion of their lives, and they're using a lighter to take off all the fringes of their outfit, and they're perfect when they go out, and it doesn't matter what the weather is like, if it's a storm, if it's
I remember that,
and it was basically telling us, like, when we go out, we need to be perfect for God, and, you know, every single bit of us needs to be absolutely perfect, and if we need to sit in a room with the Bible and just God for long periods of time, that's fine, because that's what trains you.
A psychopath would do.
Yeah.
Jesus.
You need to polish your buttons for 6 hours, that's what you do.
I remember, so one of the guys I was on tour with, who shall not be named, but it was so funny. He would, right? He would take that coin and we'd all be sitting in the Sprinter in the bus, and he would like come to our seats and use it like a badge. What's going on back here? What are you guys doing? Like, this was his police badge. I'll never forget that. That
funny.
shit is stupid, but it cracked me up. Anyways, it's a lighter note, but man, so much. I don't know. I think we're probably gonna wrap it up here pretty soon, but I'm really happy that you came on. I'm glad that we covered everything we covered. We don't have to end it right here, but I definitely, I needed that perspective, especially what you talked about, and thank you for sharing. That's very personal what you shared as far as like sex and guilt and all that comes with that, because that's all you've been taught.
It's also like, it's not really, it's nice to be able to share it. Like,
Yeah,
it's
for
nice
sure.
to be able to say things like this and not feel weird about it. Like,
Exactly.
that the fact that I can talk about sex out loud as
It's
a woman
okay.
with a guy
Yeah.
in the room
Yeah.
and be like, this is fine.
Because this is
This is
everything-
normal. This is how
this is
sex
normal.
should be talked about, and
Exactly.
how our bodies and our functions and who we are should be talked about,
Yeah.
instead of completely swept under the rug. And we, periods don't exist, and the things that women deal with don't exist.
Girls don't
Not
fart
just
or
women,
poop.
but like men.
Yeah.
Right? No, I don't do that. And like,
See, I
just
knew it.
But
That's going to be the title of this podcast. I
I
know
don't
if you know
poop.
that.
Women don't poop.
They don't. It's true. I know. It's science. It's just science, guys.
It is.
But there's so much. Again, there's so much. Society already does that enough.
Right.
Society already. I wouldn't say it makes sex taboo, but like it makes these kinds of conversations awkward or strange or grating. And then on top of that, you add in the IFB and all its fucking craziness.
Yeah.
And then it's on steroids at that point. Like.
It doesn't make, society doesn't make sex taboo.
No.
Society makes sex like very much out there.
Right.
But also, it's just the sex that you see in movies.
Yeah. It's not the real
Society
shit.
doesn't make
talking about sex
Very.
real.
Thank you.
Like,
Very good point.
It makes fucking real.
Yeah,
It makes,
it's
you
50
know,
Shades
like,
of Grey. It's every other album cover these days. And now I sound like a pastor, like, oh, watch that wickedness. I'm not saying that, guys. That's clearly not my MO. I was just talking about
BDSM
brazzers.
is awesome.
So,
oh, sorry.
oh, there you have it. Also, no poop. So
No poop.
There's it's like you said, it's putting it out there.
Yeah.
But it's not having like real, normal, regular conversations.
It's still
about,
not normal to be able to just talk about
Yeah.
sex.
Mhm.
It should be.
It
It is,
should be.
thankfully, with me and like all of my friends,
Yeah.
this is a very normal thing,
And
which is awesome.
But that needs to be, I don't know, that needs to be propagated. I'm not just saying like everyone talk about sex all the time, but like just all kinds of conversations need to be able to be had. Like that's I don't know, like there's a lot of, when it comes to politics and race and religion, like there's so many things that everyone's afraid to talk about. And I'm not saying if you want to run around with torches and be a racist, do that. That's fucking stupid.
Please don't.
Don't do that shit. But I am saying there's a lot of subjects and things that we have inside that we want to talk about. We're just afraid to talk about it because we get on Facebook and we see people getting plastered for talking about this shit. Or we try to talk to, and this isn't a dig, it's just the truth. We try to talk to someone from an older generation about this, and you just can't get through. These are, whether it's sex, whether it's religion, whatever it is, you know, this is a big reason why I have this podcast, is to be able to talk about these things with friends, with family, with people that maybe their views don't align with me entirely. That's fine. I don't fucking care. But I want to be able to have these conversations and let people know that it's okay to have these conversations. I feel very passionately about this because I'm not close with, but I follow a lot of comedians, and they're always getting in trouble for some joke they made that they shouldn't have made. It's comedy. Like, you're there to hear jokes. Why are you getting pissed off? Yeah, exactly. You make fun of yourself, for crying out loud. Self-deprecating comedy, I think it's called. Like, that's an actual thing where you make fun of yourself. I don't want to make fun of myself, but sometimes it's fucking funny. It just is. So, I don't know. I know I'm on a tangent, but, like, there's so many things that are so taboo that shouldn't be, and I think that needs to change. I think that needs to stop.
I honestly just think we need to work on how we speak to each other.
Yeah.
Because a lot of subjects are taboo. Like, let's just take politics, for example.
Sure.
Not going to mention anybody's names or anything.
No, I shouldn't have said that, because I literally never talk about politics on this podcast.
But, like, the one, like, I'm not mentioning any names or any, but I talked to a friend recently who has very different political views than I do. And this is a friend that I've known, like, we're not friends. We're friends on Facebook.
Right.
We've known each other since grade school.
Right.
But we're just very different on the political ends of things. We came at each other just talking, and it was, I believe this, and I believe this, and I believe this, and I believe this.
Right.
Totally different things. But the way that we came to each other, he goes, wow, I never thought about it like that. That's why you believe like that. Okay, that makes sense. I still don't believe it, but the way that you put it like that, and because you approached it, and because you actually talked to me instead of coming at my fucking throat, he goes, that I can actually listen to. And so he explained a couple of things as to why he believed the way that he did. And I was like, oh, dude, yeah. Okay, so that situation in your life made you believe that way and made you think that way. Oh, your daughter, because you have a kid and I don't, that's why you think that way. Or because you have a 5-person family and I am a single person with a cat. Like, that's why I think this way.
Exactly.
So, like, we really do have to put ourselves in each other's shoes. It's not necessarily the subject that's taboo. It's how we approach it a lot of times that's the biggest problem.
You're absolutely right. And there's two things with that. Like, there's perspective, and what you said was you put yourself in someone else's shoes. That's perspective. You have to be, if you're going to have an open conversation with anyone about anything, you have to take your shoes off, put their shoes on. It's just what you have to do, especially with the way America runs these days. And I wouldn't say just America, but I know it because I live here. We have this crazy clannish team mentality, and it's team blue or team red or whatever team it is. Like, I'm on my team, and even if my team leader or other members of my team do something fucked up, it's still my team, and I still love them to the death. Well, they did something fucked up. You need to be able to own that, but you can't, because your underlying theme of your life is you love your team. And again, sports, it comes back to that. Like, I am a diehard Cubs fan. Now, I was long before we won a World Series, but I wasn't a Cubs fan because we won. We sucked. We're terrible,
Right.
right? There wasn't a reason.
I'm going to say right now, before we ever win the Super Bowl again, I'm a Bears fan. So when that happens, I'm a Bears fan.
There you go. Good.
Go
Yeah, good. So no, it's out there. You're not a bandwagon fan, right? Good work. But I would shit on the Sox. I would shit on, I'm out here in California, on the A's, whoever, on the Angels. But it wasn't because my team was better or my team was technically, you'd say, right. They weren't right. They were wrong. They're terrible. But it's because I loved my team. That's my team. So we get in this headspace of this team mentality, and then we have to defend our team to the bloody death. And it's like, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can be your own person and have your own thoughts, but you can also listen to some other person's thoughts as well. And you don't have to escalate everything. I think if we worked harder at, and my friend Josh Owens has a great method for this, and God, I wish I could recall it right now, but just de-escalating things and like pull that, just rein in your emotions every once in a while. Like, that's my president, or that's my congressman, or whatever. Like, that's my belief in God. Okay, it's fine. But like, calm down. Like, bring it down.
Breathe.
Let's have if you drink, have some of that. That'll help.
Smoke a joint.
Smoke a joint.
We're in
whatever
California,
it is.
that's
Yeah,
okay,
hey,
right?
it's cool. Light up. Whatever it is to help you de-escalate and calm down, do that, and then have that conversation. I don't know. That's just me. But I think we're going to wrap up this episode of Not Your Mother's Podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
I've enjoyed
That's not just for the viewers. That's for me to you. Thank you. I'm very grateful.
I've had a good time.
Good.
It's been fun.
I'm glad. Same here. So somehow, some way, we'll have Tiffany back on. I don't know when or how we'll do it.
Maybe you can come to Alaska.
we'll do it.
You can do your podcast
I would
from
not
up
be
there.
mad at that. That sounds fucking amazing. But thanks again so much for coming on. Thank you guys for watching this long. I don't know if I'll split this podcast up or not. This is a fairly lengthy one, but I'm super thrilled with everything we've been able to cover. And as always, thank you guys for your support. And hope you enjoyed this episode of Not Your Mother's Podcast.
And say the words that burn when they leave your mouth. And tell me your story. And show me where it hurts, yeah. Oh, to the part of you that never really heals. And show me where it hurts. Oh, tell me your story. But don't leave the good parts out. Don't leave the good parts out.